What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Rick Rico. Welcome back to the Ozone Layer. Today we got a special one, man. I got a homie that I've been knowing for
10 plus years.
10 plus years, man. And he used to be one of my customers cutting hair, man. He was one of the little homies, and the reason why I got him in here today, man, is because this dude, he always had. I've always felt like he had potential in his character. Every time he came and sat in my chair, he listened. He's one of those kids that asked questions, and based on his questions, I was able to tell that he was not a dumb kid, man. And now that we're almost a decade and a half, fast forward, it's true. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not sitting in his chair because he's just a friend. Like, he's sitting in his chair because he made something out of nothing. He believed in his plan, and he achieved the goals that he had told us he was going to achieve. And that man right here is a homie, Andy. What's up, bro? What's up, bro? How you doing, man?
What's going on?
Welcome to the pod, man. Welcome to. When Rick told me you was coming through, I'm like, man, ahí está otro chapín, you know, paisano. Dije yo, yeah, sign me up, man.
Yeah,
I want to know more about him and stuff. So
it's funny because I forgot that you were Guatemalan, bro.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of similarities. You know what I'm saying? We're both very different from where we come from. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I never even looked at you like a Guatemalan.
You know, that's a fun fact. That's a fun fact about me. A lot of people assume that I'm, just a regular white boy.
is that right?
And
yeah,
then,
they never guess I'm Guatemalan, bro. I said, bro.
Then I start speaking Spanish, and they're like, "Whoa, what?"
Se le sale el chapín y
Se me sale chapín. Se me quedan viendo like.
I'm the opposite, man. When you start speaking Spanish is when I'm like, damn, this fool is fucking Hispanic. I forget because you don't have an accent.
That's another thing I get told all the time. My line of work, my professional line of work, is in an interpreter.
Yeah.
And man, a lot of the patients that I help out, they tell me all the time, you have such a neutral accent. But I can also code switch. Like, I also know si alguien es de Chihuahua, se le escucha Chihuahua. That sheet. Yeah, exactly. Si alguien es de El Salvador or de Honduras, like you can tell where people are from,
Simón.
Dominican Republic, Puerto Ricans.
I can't tell sometimes Dominicans and like the accent.
Yeah, it's similar, but man, it's their L's and their R's. The L's and the R's, yeah.
There's a difference right there.
Mm-hmm.
Sí. No, y allá en Guatemala y Salvador, Honduras, pues hablan de vos. Entonces luego ahí dice, no, este viene de allá, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Pero it's been a minute, man. I've been here since I was 14, so it's hard. And going back home here recently in 2022, man, I didn't realize how foul-mouthed chapines are, bro. Oh my! Olvidar todos.
like as far as cuss words and all that.
Sí,
oh yeah, bro.
Man, it's crazy.
Mexicans are the same, bro.
Oh man, you haven't heard that.
My uncles can't say a goddamn thing without
cussing,
bro. Like for real, and I got that, but I gotta watch it because my mom's watching, and you know what I'm saying. But if you talk to my uncles, bro, them motherfuckers, they're not stopping, bro.
Yeah.
But let's get into this first, bro. Herbal refreshment.
I like that shirt you got on, man.
Yeah,
I like that shirt.
On you, man.
It looks good on you, bro.
Yeah. Hey, man, you don't need if you want a walking billboard, man. I thought,
Hey, there you go.
Now wait till he puts his on, bro. He's in shape.
Yeah. They're good quality. They're not your typical Gildan heavy cotton shirt. They're pretty sporty. They're stretchy.
Nice.
They're nice. They're nice.
The print is high quality, bro.
I appreciate it, bro.
I know because my homie Ab, he prints.
Yeah.
And I used to work for a printing company. I actually did the printing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I feel texture, I know when
you can appreciate the detail on it.
Yeah, I know when it's gonna last or how it's gonna last.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But tell us a little bit about herbal refreshments, dog. How did you get into this?
Yeah, man. So 2 years ago, well, actually, it was a bit more than 2 years ago. A few years ago, one of my homie Perry, he came to me with an idea. We sat down, we came up with a business plan, and we ended up scratching out that idea. That didn't end up working to our benefit the way we thought it was gonna pan out, and we ended up thinking of something else. A cannabis culture company, you know, and that's what Herbal Refreshment really is. Its roots is a cannabis culture company. We're here to provide the highest quality weed, highest quality cannabis, just like the shirt. You said it's high quality. You know, we're all about high quality. We want to present the highest quality everything. We're all about community building. We're all about giving back to the community. We've done many raffles. We've done many giveaways. And that's really what we're about. You know, we're just community building, team building. Yeah.
So how far back have you been with this business?
I would say herbal refreshment was the conception of herbal refreshment. I would say was about 5 years. 5 years ago.
5 years.
So you can say 2020, 2021. That's about when we started kind of formulating the idea and figuring out what we want the company to be, what we want the brand to be, what we're actually trying to do and bring to the community, you know?
So you say your partner's name was what?
Jay.
Jay, okay.
Shout out Jay.
Shout out Jay.
When you guys started this, like, was it something that he already had he started, or it was something,
you
like,
know,
how did you guys come up with that concept?
That's a great question. So the original idea that Perry and I had proposed to him, he kind of took that idea, changed a few things, and created his own idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Initially, me and Perry were very excited to get that going with him, right? You know, we had some good connects going with Runtz. Shout out LB, shout out J Paid. We had a really good offer on the table, but again, it was a lot of capital that needed to be put forth, right, to do that. And, you know, I thank God for the age difference I have with my business partner, because he saw an opportunity to invest in yourself, you know, and build your own self up instead of just going a different route and basically signing under somebody, you know?
Right.
So I'm not gonna lie, it was a hard thing for me to wrap my head around, because I was so excited to be Runtz team. I was so excited to have a Runtz chain and just walk around and be like, yeah, we're Runtz, because we really had that, bro. We had that on the table. I got threads in my phone, conversations of real deals, like, you know. So fast forward 3-4 years later, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing everything come to fruition, and my role now with Herbal Refreshment is that of marketing, event planning, event management, promotion. Like I mentioned earlier, there's an age gap with my business partner and I, so we have different communities, I guess you can say, that we outreach, right? So he's always telling me, bro, I need you to tap in with the youth. You know, I'm 27 years old.
Right.
So he wants me to get
Millennial,
Gen Z, exactly. So he's always left that up to me, and really has put me in a position to grow in that area. You know, a lot of the opportunities that have been presented to me was due to Jay.
Where do you guys see that need, especially as it relates to, you know, Generation Z and millennials, when it comes to, you know, the cannabis industry?
That's a great question. I feel like the need is everywhere. There's never not enough cannabis anywhere. You know what I'm saying? That's just in any community. But I will say, one of the conversations I was having with Rick a few weeks ago was, I want to tap in more into the Hispanic community. You know, the Latino community, I feel like, is underserved. And growing up, like you said, the
thing with the Latino community is, we're gonna have to change their minds, because
the way they view
marijuana is very
illegal.
It's very
the devil's lettuce.
Judgmental. Judgmental, yeah, that's because it's been embedded in our upbringing, really. You know, even the word when they say,
well, it's because, you know why though? I feel like the reason why it's embedded in our mind negatively, it's not because it was illegal, it's because it's connected to the narcotráfico. You know what I'm saying? And then growing up, like us, I'm an immigrant. I grew up in Mexico. That's where it started. It's like, you're doing something that the narcos are selling. You know what I'm saying? That's bad. You know what I'm saying?
But it's because illegal. But
Yeah,
there's always
because
been
it
demand.
was illegal.
Yeah. Well,
But, you
and
know-
it still is in some states, you know?
You know, one thing that bothers me about that type of mindset, though, and this is why education is so essential.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that I've been kind of working on behind the scenes with a coworker of mine. Alcohol, prohibition. That was in the 1920s, y'all.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
100 years ago. People were peddling alcohol like it was marijuana, like it was cocaine, like it was, bro, people, well, I forget what the name was, but bootleggers. There you go. Bootleggers, man. And I'm telling you, alcohol was that at one point.
Yeah.
And it's just that it's like what you're taught, right? That stigma, you get taught like that's for bad people. Only narcos touch that. Only
You know what's crazy, man? Like, it's so crazy how synchronicities work. Because just leading up to this podcast, I was at the gym talking to somebody in the sauna, and this guy happened to be in the cannabis industry here locally. I'm not gonna mention no names, but he's got a shop, right? And he basically was talking about how he's always been in the industry even before it became legalized,
Yeah.
right? But now that it has been legalized, he's still in the industry. Obviously, there's a lot of like barrier to entry, you know, with licensing and all this stuff that he was explaining. But now he's not viewed as a drug dealer. Now he's a entrepreneur and businessman.
and
That's so wild.
Yeah, and I feel like the people that deserve that spot are those people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like they're going to be able to tell you the best information about it. They know the strains, or the strands. Strains or strands?
strains.
You know what I'm
That's
saying? It's like a doctor, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're gonna know what you need, what you don't need, versus someone that just got into it, or someone that owns a dispensary that.
Well, he was telling me that there is that recognition in the industry of people that have been doing it already prior to it being legalized, and people that are just now getting in and being more corporate. Like there's this level of recognition and respect even within the industry, which I was like, oh, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, but here, let me touch on this very briefly. I don't want to get too deep into this, but just like any industry, there's always going to be doors that you have to knock on, right? So, for example, my partner wasn't able to be here, but if you see my partner, we're not the same skin color. So when my partner we literally had this conversation today. I asked him a sincere question. I'm like, have you ever been shunned? Like, not shunned away, but like, have you ever been played to the left, or have you ever been like looked at differently in these spaces that we're a part of just because X, Y, and Z? And he was like, yeah, bro, that kind of hurt, you know, that it hurts because, bro, we're trying to do so much for the community, you know, and there's so many barriers that you have to go through. And like you said, the people that do deserve those positions are people that have been in it prior to it being a legal thing, because now you have all these corporate bigwigs getting their hand in the industry that, I mean, they don't really, I mean, not that they don't belong in, but I mean, they don't have any skin in the game. You know?
They don't appreciate
They didn't even
that.
respect it prior to.
Right, they don't appreciate it's a means of profit. You know, they don't appreciate the plan for what it is, right, and the value that it can generate and create. You know, well, at least in, like, let's say, for example, the medicinal arena, right? You know, pain management, and now, you know, even like with mental health, some people, I mean, swear by it in terms of like anxiety, you know, depression and things of that nature. But, you know, in a more, like, let's say, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Recreational, then, you know, which is now where we're at, you know, here in Missouri, which I didn't think it was going to happen here in the Bible Belt, guys. Like, honestly, I didn't see it coming for a long time, but, you know, it's here at our doorstep, and, you know, but you still don't see it as much as you would in other areas like Denver and California. And I always wonder that. So I asked this guy that, you know, that I was talking to, and he's like, it's mostly licensing. You know, there's a lot of hurdles that you have to go through, you know, and there's only so many per state. And so, you know, and so I guess even though it's legalized, the game is complicated.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Oh, 100%. So, yeah, the way licensing works, there's multiple rounds of a lottery system. So they call it a lottery system, right? But if you know the right people, you got a good enough lawyer on a big retainer, man, you're gonna get one of those licenses.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's a very gate kept industry.
And the licensing is different for let's say dispensary or in growing, right?
Absolutely.
I mean those are different licensing,
manufacturing and distribution. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's basically the whole enchilada, the whole supply chain.
The whole supply chain, brother. Yeah. So I mean, you got to get in where you fit in. Unfortunately, that's kind of like where it's at, but it has its pros and its cons, right? When you look at a state like Oklahoma, where they're handing out licenses to just about anybody that wants to grow weed or do whatever, bro, you're coming out with what we're calling sprayed packs, right? You might not be familiar with that term, but if you're in the industry, a sprayed pack is basically a plant that has been sprayed over with terpenes and pesticides and X, Y, and Z, and they're just pumping out numbers, right? We care about pumping out numbers, thousands of pounds, mass production.
No different than food.
Quantity over quality, exactly. No different than food, right? So, the Midwest has always been very late to the trend, right? We've always been late to the trend, whether it's music, art, fashion, whatever. We're always pretty late to the trend. And one of the things we've been kind of discussing and looking at is living soil grow. What does that mean? Living soil is exactly what it sounds like. Like you're not adding anything into this soil. It's just straight natural dirt. You could throw a banana peel in there if you want for whatever, Yeah. But I mean, it's the cleanest way of growing cannabis, right?
It's the refreshment.
It's the refreshment. There you go. But there's a big difference in that, right? And a lot of people don't know what that difference is because we're so used to going off of what we hear in rap songs or seeing what the next person is smoking, right? So you might hear somebody say, "Oh, I want Runtz. I want to smoke candy. I want to smoke this. I want," and it's like, bro, you can get that. Right, but there's different levels to it. These spray packs are terrible, bro. You smoke these packs, you're high for 10, 15 minutes and you're not high anymore. But they look crazy. You look at them and it's like the type of weed that we grew up looking at it in 2010, 12, 15.
On High Times.
And you're looking at this shit on High Times and you're like, bro, incredible looking weed. But bro, it doesn't smoke like shit, bro. And it's terrible for you. Again, it's terrible.
The shit that they're doing with it, is so wild because now it's opened up a door to all kinds of stuff. Like you got edibles, you got vapes, you got all kinds of just THC products that, it gets extracted, processed, and then introduced to the market, man. And so like you wonder sometimes like how good are this for you, right? As opposed to just having the natural flower, right? That's kind of what I'm picking up on what you're saying.
That's exactly, you're exactly 100% right. So one of my homegirls, she even made a post about that the other day, and I was surprised that she even knew about this. She was like, I'm about to start growing this, that, and the third, because she was like, I don't want any of these tortured, frustrated plants that people are pushing out, because it's true, bro. You got to think. Cannabis is a living plant, right? So think about it with our produce or with our even with our proteins, right? You have chickens that are injected with steroids, probiotics,
GMOs.
whatever, GMOs, right? So you have GMO vegetables, fruits, whatever. You have GMO proteins. It's just like that for cannabis. You got to remember, it's a plant too, right? So you have these farms that are creating this almost toxic environment. Not really, right? Because they're growing and you're getting product and whatnot, but it's not the best thing for you to put in your body. You know?
No, it's crazy, man. Because like I actually recently came across this thing that was talking about how there's consciousness in plants, where they've actually run experiments, and they had two sets of plants, and in one plant they actually wrote like words of like affirmation in that plant, and then the other one
I hate you.
Yes, and they grew at a different rate. And actually, one started to just like withering away, and the other one was just growing. I mean, so it's like, as it pertains to marijuana, like you know, in this mass production and what they're doing with these plants. And it's like, what could that plant be carrying in terms of,
what, when you smoke it, like what could it
do to you?
What can it do to you?
Exactly.
What can it do to you?
It's a spiritual thing.
No, and that's why we go back to what I said, man. Cannabis culture company focusing on the highest quality cannabis we can provide people, you know? And we just want to look out for the community because we're aware of this, bro.
For the consumer,
and
right?
For the consumer, man. It's all about the consumer at the end of the day. And then not only that, think about this. On the flip side, right? When you look at what's going on in the streets, you have people taking this risk, driving these 5 hours down to Oklahoma, and they're buying these $700, $800, $600 pounds, bringing them back to the city, dumping them in the city for a few points extra than what they got them for. There's nothing wrong with that. I'll never look down on the hustle, but you just got to think about what you're putting out. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's always going to be a big topic.
How do you ensure quality? Does it come down to the soil?
It comes down to everything.
Environment,
lighting. Soil, lighting, temperature, plumbing.
What's a lifespan of when a plant is planted to when it's ready?
You know, that's a great question you asked me, and I actually know the answer to that. Because when it comes to the growing shit, bro, I don't really know much about that. You know, we have people that are experts in that field. When the flower is in veg, I guess you have more time to play with it. I think that's right. I think when the flower's in veg, you have more time to play with it. So basically,
what's veg?
The vegetation stage where you're giving it, God, I might be wrong. So growers, please don't kill me on this. Like, I think it's when it's on for 12 hours on the light and then 12 hours off. So when it's used to that veg process, you have a lot of leeway to play with it, right? You have a bit of a longer time span. You can see it grow and you can see it do X, Y, and Z and whatnot. But once you flip that switch and you turn it off from 12:12 to 8:16 or whatever, then you that's the flower process. So that's when your flower becomes very delicate. If you have anything off, bro, if something goes off, if you lose power for 5 minutes, bro, you could throw away your whole crop. Like that, it's that delicate when it's in flower. So yeah, it's just the process behind growing it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
When you apply that to life, remember what Kiefer was talking about, the tree and all that,
and the fruit that it produces.
So like kids,
okay,
she's basically in veg.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And whatever happens right now, like, affects her later in adult life.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You know, that's a topic that I'm really not knowledgeable on because I'm not a father.
You're not a father.
I'm not a father, but I mean, I've always asked you about stuff like that. You know, I think I asked you that in the previous conversation we've had.
Yeah,
I ask a lot of my homies about that too. You know,
that's what I meant on the intro, bro. I feel like you've always asked questions out of curiosity that were not stupid questions.
And I appreciate
that. They were like, damn, this fool's deep. Bro, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, you know, one of my favorite things to do, Rick, is sit with random people that I know I'll probably never see again in my life and just be fucking brutally honest with them.
Yeah.
Like, and, you know, with their consent, of course. I'm not just going to go up to some random person and trauma dump on them, right?
Yeah.
But, like, bro, when I used to travel a lot, bro, I would just go to the most random place, random bar, random restaurant. You know, I would pick what kind of person I was in the mood to talk to, right? If I wanted to talk to a down-to-earth regular person that I could relate to, I'd go to like a regular hole in the wall, right? But if I wanted to get some game or some sort of business advice or something, bro, I'm going to a nice bar or whatever, and I strike up conversation with the person next to me. But bro, I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with people that needed that conversation, bro.
Yeah.
Somebody that just wanted to talk to them. I wanted to learn about this person.
Yeah, that's when I cut hair, that was one of the things I loved the most. It was more so than cutting the hair, bro. I like having conversations with my clients. And a lot of my clients were younger kids. And I got to see a lot of those kids, because I used to cut on Independence Avenue, bro. You know, and a lot of those kids, they're you know, barrio kids, bro. And I remember I'd come in there and they would I would give them a different perspective because of where I'm from.
Yeah.
that they never heard before. And they're like, damn, I never even thought about it like that.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely gave me a different perspective growing up, bro. I'll tell you that. You were definitely a positive figure in my life. And I've always looked up to you. Like I told you the other day on the phone too, one of the things that I've always respected about you is that, bro, you continue to strive and elevate and shoot for more. You know, a lot of people get comfortable in the space that they're in, or they get comfortable with their job, or they get comfortable with what they're doing and never try to strive for more, you know? And it's sad to see that because, like I told you, I looked up to a lot of people growing up, bro.
Yeah.
And brought them passed up a lot of those people to you know? And it's and when you get to that point, it's like, damn, bro.
Yeah.
I thought you had that drive. I thought you had that ambition. I thought you had that in you too.
Yeah.
And you didn't, you know? So shout out to you, Rick.
Nah, shout out to you too, bro. Because like I said, man, like you said, you've surpassed a lot of people, and in my mind, shit, you've made it. You've had a Hellcat, bro. I want a goddamn Hellcat.
Hey, it was written though. It was written. I swear to God, I want to say this, bro. I have text messages in my phone when I was talking to George about this, bro. Rest in peace, George, bro. I'm telling you, I texted him. I have messages in my phone. My right hand man, James, he'll tell you too. I told him, I said, bro, I want to live downtown and own a Hellcat. And I said exactly where I wanted to live at. And I said exactly what I wanted to have. And bro, you know, it's a lot of stuff that I've done in the dark, bro, that if I were to speak about it, sometimes I feel like it would come off as bragging. You know, so I'm very humble, bro. I keep that shit to myself. For as long as you've known me, bro, you've never seen me flex money. You've never seen me do no crazy shit online.
Nah,
bro.
even when you got your Hellcat, I was like, this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like I never doubted that you could get it. When you got it, I was like, this nigga got it. But I remember you posting the video of you flying down your mom's house on that street when you first got it.
That wasn't even me, bro. That was my stepdad driving it. I was recording. You see what I'm saying? But bro, I swear to God, bro, like I've always been that type of person, bro, where it's like I want to share my shit with everybody that I love, bro. And unfortunately, the things that I've experienced over these last few years have made me not like just tighten up that circle, bro. So now it's like I only share that with like 2 or 3 other people in my immediate circle, you know, where, bro, my stepdad drove my car. My best friend Avery drove my car. My best friend Terry drove my car for his birthday. I gave my brother Darion my car for a few days. I was out of town, like, bro, you got it.
Yeah.
One of my little homies, Shad and Earl, shit, I threw them the keys. I didn't even know them from a can of paint, bro. I swear to God. But it's just, I've always been very giving like that, you know?
No, I can relate. I can relate to that. Do you ever feel like you don't receive that back?
I don't look for it back.
Yeah.
I don't look for it back.
That's probably part of the reason why you've been so blessed too, on top of having that vision, because you said, I called it, you know, like you knew that. And there is that, you know, there is that form of manifestation, right? Like whenever you have to see it first before anybody else can, bro. Yeah. And you have to believe it too, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
to add, before we go further, to add one of the things I always remember that George said about you is that he said, Andy's set, bro. Like, he knows what he's doing. There's no changing that man. He knows what he's doing.
It just gave me chills.
Bro, he's sitting right there right now, bro.
I remember telling them that because,
bro, he's sitting right here right now with you right now, for real. Because if you, like you guys were just telling me before we started that second episode that you have now that you're hanging on to is with Andy. And you know,
yeah, before the Ozone started, before it was even anything, before it was this, we had one episode that got demolished. The second episode was with George, Andy, and Mo, and that was technically the first recorded audio of the podcast. You know what I'm saying? And Andy was in that, and you know, you and George were hanging out a lot during that time.
We were.
You know what I'm saying?
We were. That was my dog, bro. He was a big part of my life, bro.
Yeah.
And I remember, bro, I swear, like my first night that I was in that apartment, it was just me and my cat, and I was just, bro, no furniture, nothing. I was still moving into my apartment, but I remember I was just sitting there, just looking out my balcony, just smoking to myself, thinking to myself, like, damn, gee, I wish you could see this shit, bro. And that shit be fucking with me sometimes, man, you know, because I saw a tweet the other day. It was like, you know, it sucks to accomplish some shit that you talked about with other people and they're not there to see it.
Yeah.
And that should be hurting, bro.
And that George is one of those dudes that would come pull up with a bottle of Henny and a blunt and extremely happy. You know what I'm saying? Like extremely happy to just celebrate your accomplishment.
Anything, bro. Anything.
I remember one of the things that meant the most to me about George is that when he got his Charger, remember that white one he drove?
Of course.
That dude pulled up to my house before he went before he went to anyone else.
He pulled up to the house.
Came from the dealership and pulled up to my house to show me that car, bro. When I seen him pull up in that, I was like, bruh.
Yeah. You know, George was a very giving person, bro. Man. He was a very giving person, very loving person. I remember, you know, I grew up with I didn't grow up with him, but I went to school with his younger brother, Michael. Yeah. Michael Hoff.
Shout out Michael Hoff.
Shout out Michael, man. He's a beast, bro.
He's a fighter, right?
He's a fighter, bro. Yeah, he's a beast, bro. But
same genetics, bro.
Same build, bro. Same build. I'm talking dog. Bro is jacked.
Fuck.
So
scary, bro.
But yeah, man, I say that to say that the longevity of our friendship, he knew me for the better half of 2-3 years. You know, he didn't know me that well, but in those 2-3 years, bro, he treated me like he's known me all his life. Like, bro, I was out of town one time, bro. I had went on a trip and my mom was sick. Yeah. And I told him about it. And he pulled up to my mom's house, took her some soup or some food, using Google Translate, like talking to my mom. And
bro, we having an ozone layer moment right now, bro. This fool part of the history. I didn't even know, man.
Andy's part of because, you know, this whole, I was explaining it on the last podcast, bro. George told me he wanted to write a book. Mm-hmm. That's what he told me he wanted to do. And I was telling Dennis, I was like, the way that I wanted to help George was to record our conversation so he could use that audio and pinpoint the subjects that he would want, because he didn't know how to just organize.
It's so crazy because he's came up in so many different episodes, and so many episodes, bro. Like it just pops up in the conversation, and not unintentionally. Like we don't really say, "Hey, we don't plan it out." Like, "Hey, let's bring." You know, it's just. And I knew George, but I didn't know him like that. I knew that Ricky.
You knew him more than John.
Like,
bro, you knew way more than John.
He was a big part of my man. Listen, bro. George was there when I took off from being broke to getting my shit going for me, bro.
Yeah.
He was a huge part of that, bro. Like that trip that I went to, it wasn't a vacation trip, bro.
Yeah.
I wasn't on vacation when I was gone, bro. I was working, bro. I was supposed to be gone for like 5 or 6 days. I ended up being gone like 9 or 10 days, bro. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm sitting here calling my mom, lying to her and telling her, you know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. We're meeting with this person, we're doing this, then the third. And he knew what I was doing. And yeah, bro, he came through, bro. Came through, checked up on moms, and
he was a family man.
Family man to the core, bro, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, he's one of mine. He's one of those friends that, like, he showed up to my house. He showed up to my house to visit my parents, not even me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He would show up to visit them and get advice from them sometimes.
You know, hey, one of the things I wanted to tap on real quick, man. We were talking earlier about building community and doing I just wanted to shout out Interrupt KC, man. Those two guys, bro, they're really about that. And the podcast that I watched that they did with you guys really gave me that sort of energy from them too. Yeah. So shout out them.
Shout out to JL, D-Rod.
Yep,
man.
Yep,
I appreciate
they're
those
doing
guys.
their thing. Yeah, they're doing their thing. And again, you know, when we were talking about community building and doing this for the Latino community, those guys are already ahead of what I'm thinking and doing, bro. So shout out them.
They're in the heart of it.
You
know what I'm saying?
100%.
They're in the heart of it.
I checked them out, bro. I saw what they were doing, bro.
Yeah.
They're for sure doing.
Yeah, if you guys want to get shit, if you want me to connect you guys, bro, I got you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, I love for stuff to happen organically, though. You know, I'm very big on that. I quit asking years ago for connections like that because I feel like when it's like that and it's not organic, sometimes it's not as genuine as it could be. Where as opposed to, like, say we're at First Fridays and I run into you. And then you're like, oh shit, JL and D-Rock's over there. Let's go holler at them real quick. Then we pull up and you know some shit.
You
like that.
You guys were there? I mean, because you say you met him before, right? Were you there with Rick at the time, or
nah?
Met them? Interrupt KC? Mm-hmm. No, they haven't. He hasn't met them. He saw them on the podcast, but the last time I seen Andy was at First Fridays at Made Moms.
Oh, okay.
We were getting our frescas.
Yeah. and that's how this episode came about, or
it's something that me and Andy been talking about forever. It's just we just haven't.
I'm gonna tell him, bro. So bro was lit. Bro was lit that night because I could tell you were drunk. You were posting. Nah. You were at an event. You were at an event one night. Yeah. You were drunk, bro.
I was.
You were drunk, and I could tell you were drunk because of the way you were posting.
Cuando no, güey.
Cuando no.
En todos los eventos del güey. Es su trabajo.
But we basically ended up connecting that night, and Rick told me like, bro.
Yeah, I say the most viral shit when I'm lit.
Hey,
for real. When I'm lit,
excited.
When I'm lit and I post something, people repost it. So I'm like, I'm doing something right.
But yeah, he basically hit me up, was like, bro, I'm able to get this space. I'm able to get these tables. I'm able to get X, Y, and Z. I just need people to come out to this event. I'm like, bro, let's figure it out. Figure out a way we can collab, right? Like, figure out a way we can fit the pieces together and see how we can help each other as long as it makes sense, right? Because there's also you have to make sure it meshes well and it makes sense for both parties, you know? And that's one of the things I told Rick. I'm like, bro, let's just sit down and formulate some ideas. Like, if you want me and my team of girls to pull up and you know, we can engage with the community, engage with the people, we could do something like that. If you need me to sponsor something, we can do that too. Just let me know what role you need me to play. If I'm able to play it, I'm gonna play it to the best of my ability. And you know, you got there, bro. You know, with me, you got a lifetime membership, bro.
I appreciate it. And like I said, bro, like the more we grow, the more connections we make, the more opportunities we create.
100%.
And you know what I'm saying? And I'm willing to work for my people all the time, bro. So I'm always
100%.
just like now, like every time I was on to bring about podcasts. When I was there, I was like, bro, if I got a guest and you want them, let me know. I'll make that connection, and vice versa for you guys, bro. Like, anytime a door opens for me and I see a fit, boom. Production supervisor missed that.
What's that?
Nah, the herbal refreshment can, bro.
Oh,
you can put your tequila in here if you want. You don't have to, but you can.
Hey, that's a smart use for it. You know, that's an empty sample of our newest packaging. You know, we revamped the packaging. We ended up taking away the white text box that was there that should have never been there to begin with. We went with the aluminum colored cap, and yeah, I mean, this fits a good amount of tree in there. You know, it's more so a novelty, herbal refreshment. This is a can, so it's a refreshment. You know,
yeah.
But you know, I was talking to one of my video directors today, and we're getting ready to shoot a commercial at one of the gas stations, and she's super creative as far as how she wants to do this. So we're getting ready to do that, and we're going to use this as basically the main novelty.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right on, man. So, hey, going back to, you know, community, and, you know, specifically, you know, our community and how this cannabis industry, I'm curious about that because that's, you know, a longstanding belief, the negative connotation that you're fighting against. And so, like, it's like, where do you even start? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where do you even start?
Education.
Yeah.
Just educating people, man. Like I said, I feel like knowledge is the thing that's going to take the Latino community to the next level. You know, one of the things that you touched on earlier that we can definitely get into is mental health, community resources, right? I feel like I'm able to speak on this because this is what I'm around a lot. You know, a lot of people look at me and they're like, bro, you never work. You're never at work, which, you know, I don't work as much as I used to.
Hey,
it's kind of,
this motherfucker works. He does translate.
I'll be at work. Yeah. I ran into him at one of the psych facilities that I work at, bro.
I was there doing fire door inspections. He was there translating for one of his,
one of my clients. So yeah, you know, one of the things, mental health. That's one of the things that I see a lot, Dennis, is just, bro, the lack of knowledge on how to use community resources, right? So that's one of the things that my coworker and I were talking about. She was telling me how she did a free class on how to do CPR, and she went to I can't remember the name of the cafe. It was like Cafe Abrazos or some shit. Cafe Corazon. Cafe Corazon. I think that's where it was.
Yeah.
She did a free CPR class up there, and she showed like
shout
all
out
the staff.
Dulcinea.
Yeah.
Shout out Dulcinea.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Do you know them?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's what.
So she went up there. So my homegirl's name, her name is Carla. Shout out Carla. She's really all about the community. She wants to put a nonprofit together and do things for this Hispanic community. And she's been telling me like we need to sit down, get together, and figure out how to do that. But bro, education, bro. She went in there. She taught them how to do CPR. She gave them a skill that they could use in case of an emergency. Dennis, you have no idea how many things happen that people come to the emergency room for that if they just knew better, they could avoid an emergency room visit, but also they could avoid it getting that serious to where they needed to go to the emergency room just off of knowing certain things, right?
Right.
So using community resources, man, educating the people, like, marijuana used to be this, then the third. But I feel like the biggest thing right now is just education on how to use community resources. A lot of people don't even know they can use Medicaid or Medicare if they have papers. That's one of the things that we struggle with here in our community as well, is documentation and legality as far as staying here and whatnot.
That's what papers means.
That's what papers mean, guys. Not paper, not money.
For those who don't know,
not rolling papers.
Not rolling papers, yeah. But a lot of people don't know that we have these resources available to us, Dennis, and they just struggle. Right. They struggle because they don't know any better.
That is so common in our community, man. I served in the Hispanic Chamber for a couple of years as an ambassador. I haven't been as active here lately. My mom's still there. She's on the board of directors, and one of the biggest things that we see, when we're out there, is that, man, is the lack of knowledge, and not just in terms of this topic, but like finance,
everything, education,
everything, man. We just need, and there's so much, so
even when it comes to taxes,
and that's what I was gonna say, man. Again, going back to what I do, there's times where I have clients that can't read or write, and I'm reading and writing for them, and I have no problem doing that. Bro. That's one of the things that I love to do. I love to serve people, bro. My love language is acts of kindness. If you're my girl, I love giving you gifts. But bro, like male or female, my friends, like I just love doing stuff for them, cooking for them, doing simple shit for them. Bro,
you're an act of service guy.
I'll give you an example. My brother Ryan, shout out Ryan headquarters. I'll go up there and just sweep his floor. I'll pick up the hair, sweep his floor. I'm never above that task, bro. I'm never above that task. Or for example, my brother Charles, shout out Chuck, he let me into his kitchen one day, and I'm just standing there. I'm like, bro, do you need help washing these dishes? Like, I could wash them for you. And he looked at me surprised, like, shit, if you want to wash them, you can. I'm like, why would it not, bro? You my brother, bro. Like, shit, if he told me to bag some shit up, I would. Like, I'm never above any task, bro. Like, I've never.
What taught you to do that? Like, how did you learn that? Because a lot of us are like taught by our parents. Like, was that something your mom implemented in you?
That's a great question, bro. I don't know where that comes from.
Does that come back from childhood, perhaps? Living in Guatemala, or does it go back that far?
There's some people that don't do shit. They don't know how to. They're just so fucking hurt that they don't do shit. But like you could be hurt. But because that's someone you love, you'll still do it. And a lot of people lack that.
I don't know, bro. I feel like it just comes back to that's my love language. Like, that's how I express my love to you. Like, bro, that's how you know I love you, bro, is when I do shit for you.
Yeah, because I saw a video of you today. You posted that video today. You was with your homie and you was holding, I think it was his daughter, right?
Right? Hey, I wish you could hear the audio behind that, the real audio. Yes, bro.
That was his daughter, right?
Yeah. You saw the real audio. It was on Snapchat.
Yeah. But see, like, like George, that's who George was to me.
Yeah.
He was like an uncle to her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, you're playing that role in your circle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out, because like George didn't grow up with a father.
Yeah.
Where'd he get that from? You know what I'm saying?
I feel like, man, that's just how I'm able to express my love and show people I love them. But I also feel like if I really think about it, man, it comes back to the fact that, bro, I grew up with nothing, bro. Really nothing, bro. Like, being from Guatemala, when we lived in Zona 6, bro, like nuestro techo era de pura lámina, bro.
Sí.
Pura lámina, y teníamos un palo de guayaba ahí encima.
Sí.
Que cuando caía la guayaba, bro, that shit used to fuck me up at night, bro. I grew up with the fear.
Cuando llueve, cabrón.
Bro, I swear, I'm serious, bro. Like that shit.
What he said is they
traumatized me.
had a tin roof, and guayabas fell from the trees to the tin
Guavas.
roof, and they guavas, and they woke his ass up. I think.
Yeah, so I mean,
you don't know if it was a fucking, if it was a shot.
Nah, bro, I'm telling you, like that contributed to like a lot, like one of the. I used to be afraid of the dark, bro.
Remember when hail would fall?
Yes,
and
bro,
you had that
I'm
tin
telling you,
roof,
bro. See, we didn't get much hail because it wasn't that cold in Guatemala. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we had some thunderstorms, strong ass thunderstorms,
So,
bro.
is Guatemala tropical?
Tropical.
Yeah.
It's tropical?
Tropical as fuck, bro. Hell yeah.
But in the capital, it does get cold.
Cold.
Though.
It does.
Yeah.
It
But
does.
is-
And
is-
in the mountains.
But it's all Guatemala tropical, or is it just like outskirts? Because like where you're from is tropical. As
So
hell.
if the farther north you go in Guatemala, like closer to the capital, it's not as tropical as it is as you go more east or southeast.
En el Pacífico.
Exactly.
Ajá, yeah, sí.
okay,
See, Guatemala, it actually means Tree of America. El árbol de América.
Tree of America.
Shit, I didn't know that.
Ajá, y
We've been over here too long.
y es más que nada por la fauna y flora, ¿sí sabes? Entonces, like,
Explain.
so las plantas y los animales, it's very dense and you know, just trees and jungle and so
So,
forth.
fun fact, one of the biggest national parks, protected national parks, is Tikal. It's in Guatemala.
It really is.
It's the biggest protected national park in all of Central America. I got the opportunity to go there a few years ago, and I got to climb on the temples and see a lot of stuff, bro. Like it was nice, and that's I'm trying to put together like an itinerary to start taking my friends back because I want to show them where I'm from,
bro.
Because I've. You said no, like it's not a good idea.
No, I do.
He said,
I thought he said like.
I'm down with it. I mean, it really depends on where
Everyone
you're
needs
taking.
it.
Where you're taking.
There's a lot of beauty in Guatemala,
So look,
bro.
look, this is what I'm thinking.
I want to take my
look.
girl back to Mexico.
Look,
It
facts.
might
dude.
delete her depression.
Look, so I'm thinking, all right, because every time I go, bro, I fly in through San Pedro. I never go in through Gua.
Likewise.
Yeah,
Likewise. It's so much faster.
If we were to go through Gua, okay, we land in the capital. We spend a couple nights in Antigua. From Antigua, we go to Lake Atitlan or Amatitlan.
Oh, bro,
or Cobán. Beautiful,
amazing.
bro. I've been there, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like I know how to navigate, and I drove, bro. I drove to all of these places. So I want to go from there to one of these lakes, then into the mountains where like the volcanoes are at, and then from there travel east to go to Tikal. Then from Tikal down, go to Rio Dulce, Puerto Barrios, and then go to Honduras, go to Roatan for a couple days, and
bro,
shit.
that sounds like a fucking dream trip.
Bro,
I'll be down.
12 days. That's all you would need. 12 days, and that 12 is enjoying it. If we needed to cut it down to 10, we have enough time to do all of that. But yeah,
Now is this trip gonna teach people?
culture, bro.
No, not only culture, but like, you know, I can take people to Mexico, and I can teach them. I can take them down there and have a good time. But I don't like the first time I went back to Mexico after being here over a decade and a half. When I came back from Mexico was because I went to fucking Mexico, bro. Like I went and felt the struggle. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I was able to come back and be like, damn, I'm over here complaining because I ain't got this and I ain't got that.
Man, look, I feel like that's just something that we get just period, bro. Because that's something I always tell everybody whenever I go back to Guatemala. You might be able to relate to this, Dennis. It's a very humbling thing. It's a very, very humbling thing when you go back to Guatemala, bro.
When you have to see poverty, man, and
next
like,
level poverty.
And you know what, bro?
Not the poverty we have out here, Dennis. It's next level poverty.
I'm gonna tell you though. I think that part of that what's embedded in your DNA when it comes to service could potentially come from there because you know, like most people don't know, man.
It's
but
that
like
humbleness. It's that no. So that's like Pueblo culture.
I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something, okay? And I want you guys just to kind of the people to understand the level of poverty and the difference.
Yeah.
When I came, when I was going to Park University, bro, we did a class that's called Kansas City in the Heartland. Okay, and we went to the Warnall house. The Warnall house was a house that was used back during the Civil War back in like the 1860s for like like a hospital. They used to like treat the wounded, and so it's like a like a museum. Everything's still intact, right? And if you go to the kitchen, you see like all the utensils. You go to the, living room, you see all the furniture and how they lived back then. And I remember walking through this house, bro, and I was thinking, fuck, they lived better back in 1860 here in the States than they do in Guatemala in the current age. That's how big of a fucking gap, bro. I get goosebumps.
I am too. I
Just talking about this, because I mean, I think the hardest thing for me when I go back is seeing the kids. That hits so hard, man, because you see little kids, bro. Like you're talking about 8, 9 years old, already hustling, bro. Already in the streets trying to make a peso. A quetzal, actually, un quetzal.
Yeah.
Porque no tienen que comer, cabrón. Yeah. And that is heartbreaking, bro. That is heartbreaking, bro.
Bro, let me tell you, man. Let me tell you, this is one experience that I hold on to that I know I'll never forget, because it affected all 5 of my senses, bro. Like, so my family down there, they're pretty well off, bro. They're a lot well off than my mom and I are up here, right? It's just me and my mom up here in the United States. My dad, my 2 brothers, they're down there. They're doing their thing down there.
Right.
So one of the jobs that they had to go to, I went with them. I was younger. I think I was about 17, 18 at the time. And para llegar allá a la finca donde teníamos que ir, teníamos que pasar por un like a landfill, right? To get to the farm that we were trying to get to, we had to pass a landfill. And I remember, like, bro, a mile before we even got to that landfill, bro, you could smell it, bro. It was a smell so pungent that it burned my nostrils, bro. Like, it was such a strong smell. And it was trash, right? You know what trash smells like.
Right.
You know what trash smells like. So, bro, we're driving, and we're in the car, we're in the truck, we got the windows up, we got the AC on, so we're chilling. And as we get closer to the landfill, people live there, Dennis. People live there, bro. Bro, that shocked me, bro. I cried, bro, because I'm asking my dad, bro, I'm like, why do they live here? He's like, they ain't got nowhere else to live. And you talking about tin roofs, bro. They got unos palitos con una malla, bro. Unos palitos ahí, 4 palitos, y ahí tienen una malla encima.
Casas de cartón,
Casas
cabrón.
de cartón, cabrón. Ahí comiendo la comida que está ahí pudriéndose, güey. And then not only that, but kids were there too, bro. And that's the one that fucked me up, Dennis. That's the one that fucked me up, bro.
Yeah, because they didn't ask to be born in that,
Nah.
And that's what's fucking crazy. I remember in my early years, bro, in Morales, like it was there was no sewage, and electricity was limited. Even the water was limited, and there used to be this, what you're talking about, those landfills, the swamp where people will go and just throw the trash, and the dead dogs, and so it smelled like a dead body. Sometimes they'll go and throw dead bodies over there, and it was within a walking distance, bro. It wasn't that far from where we used to play.
Yeah.
And so when you think in terms of like poverty, right? Poverty has a certain look and a certain smell, right? And a certain feel. And when you step into that environment, it's felt.
Yeah.
It like sips through your fucking bones,
all
bro.
All 5 senses.
Bro.
All 5 senses. I'm telling you,
I had a homie in Mexico. Shout out El Hummer. They call him a Hummer now.
Okay.
He's good now. He's set up. But my boy, his family used to live in the river, bro. Like we lived on the riverside, right? But there was a trail that would go down. And when rivers turn, they create a bank, right? And his dad and his family, they built like a mud house pretty much in that bank, to where they pretty much like dug into the dirt, you know what I'm saying? And I remember going to his house a few times, and I remember like the house was completely different from mine. Just from the bathroom, the way it was set up and how they had to funnel it out type shit. I could tell it was different. You know what I'm saying? And I remember my parents bought me a brand new green bike, and I had a red one, a smaller one. And my mom told me you should give that to
Homer.
Hummer, you know, and I was like, oh yeah, because I didn't have any friends to ride bikes with, so I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna have another friend, you know what I'm saying? And I gave him that bike, and I remember me and him hanging out, and this is young, bro. This is like about four, because I came to America when I was 6, so this had to be like 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward later, 10, 15 years later, when I went back to Mexico the first time, I remember seeing him. You know what I'm saying? And now he lives in front of my uncle. He has his own house there. He's got horses now. He's got his own little ranch. So I was really proud to see that, you know what I'm saying? But he reminded me of that story. I had forgot about that story, bro.
Mm-hmm.
But when I went back, I was like, bro, you're the one that gave me my first bike. And I didn't even know that was his first bike, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that shit touched me, and it really put that perspective in my head that I'm like, bro, I'm over here talking about we're poor because of how we lived.
Mm-hmm.
And this man and his family had less than we did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And you see how that action, that small action that you did of giving him your used little red bike was
Like,
life
bro,
changing to him, bro.
that was
Everything
new to him.
Everything to him, bro.
Yeah, everything, bro.
And man, you know, that's kind of like what I always, bro. I'm very empathetic, bro. Like
Yeah.
I'm able to relate on how people feel very, very much so. And the job that I have, bro, really has shown me that, bro. Like, you have no idea how many times, bro, I've had some cases at work, bro, that bro, they fuck me up, bro. Like, I'll get in the car and I'll call my mom and I kind of start like tearing up on the phone. Like,
Yeah.
mama, like that was tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot what the fuck we were talking about.
Poverty.
Poverty.
Oh,
and
yeah.
struggle.
Yeah.
Poverty and struggle,
bro.
and
But that I feel like that feeds into your character, bro. And that's why I was asking earlier, because I feel like a lot of us Hispanics can relate to that humbleness and knowing
that service component.
I feel like that's how our people are, though.
Yeah.
Our people are very, very service oriented, very service driven. You know, like my mom, bro. Whenever we have, she invited me today to a carne asada. I want you to know, bro. I skipped out on the carne asada today to be here.
Man.
Nah, she told me last minute, bro. She told me like at 12, like, hey, I'm cooking at 1. Come through. But bro,
Hey, you're close by. You can
you'll
stop
see.
by
Yeah, I planned on it. But yeah, bro, you'll see my mom cooking, bro. She's cooking, she's serving, she's filling drinks, she's doing everything. She's the first one to cook, last one to eat.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like a lot of our moms are like that.
Makes plates.
Everybody. Well, she makes my plate.
Exactly.
Sure. She makes my plate.
It's crazy though, because like I think about this all the time, how our people are, you know, of service, right?
And that's gonna bother you when you're married and you're gonna make your plate, bro. That's gonna bother
Oh,
you.
you think I'm gonna marry somebody who won't?
Ah.
Hey, bro, listen. But here's the thing, though. It's not that I
That's a
expect it.
qualifier, right?
It's not that but listen, though, it's not that I expect it. It's just like, bro, it's just the act of love for me, right? So if you really know me and you know, food is a big part of me, bro. I mean, shit, it's clear, right? Yeah. Food is a huge, it's a huge.
Dicen que el amor entra por el estómago.
Por el estómago, bro. Yeah,
Look at us.
bro.
Look at us. I don't know about yours, man. But look at us.
Nah, that's because he's disciplined, bro. That's the type of discipline I strive for right there, bro.
Hell
On the
yeah.
mornings that I don't
Bro.
feel like waking up and working out, bro, that's what gets you there, bro. You don't look like that by staying in bed and getting on Instagram in the mornings, bro.
Yeah.
So, like, that's one thing they always tell me. Like, my brother always tells me, when you lack motivation, discipline takes care of that.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
and Dennis is one of the most disciplined friends I have.
Yeah. I could tell. I mean, shit, I met him 30 minutes ago, bro. I
Yeah.
could tell.
Yeah, no, he's
It's a practice,
yeah.
just like
is.
anything.
Yeah.
It
No, but
it
even
don't start out like
even
that.
before the sobriety, it was the gym and health.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the older he gets, the better he gets at discipline, which is why.
I
This
actually-
is like the 4th podcast I say this. That's the reason why I fuck with him, because he motivates me to strive
Yeah.
for better. You know what I'm saying?
There's one thing that I recently incorporated, and this is like the last couple weeks into that practice, and is cold showers. It takes a lot to get in that cold shower, man.
Oh yeah.
Especially in the morning when you wake up and you're like half asleep, bro. It is a bitch getting under that fucking cold shower and just letting it hit you. I mean, but
What does it do for you though?
Man, it is better than a fucking cup of coffee, bro.
Oh, it wakes you up.
Oh man, you right up. You go from being half asleep to being right awake immediately, and you got this sense of like almost like you're a little high, because it does say that it produces dopamine. It is a dopamine. It's a naturally induced dopamine hit.
I heard it. Cold plunges reduce anxiety levels.
Right. It do. A lot of people swear by it. So I started fucking with it, and I don't utilize like ice yet, but I'm working there. I want to walk my. I mean, Muggsy used to do that. You remember Muggsy? He was getting in there, and I want to just be able to say, you know what, I really don't feel like doing this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. That is the type of like mindset I want to develop. I want to have complete freedom, and expose myself to the things I don't want to expose myself to, and give up the things that I know that are just making my character weaker. You know what I'm saying? Like if I can get there, if I can experience that level of freedom, then I feel like I've won. You know what I'm saying? And it shapes you as you do more of it. Your entire personality really starts changing, which is crazy. Your look starts changing. You start transforming, bro. You can't go through that process and not come out on the other end and be different. There's no fucking way.
Yeah. Well, they say the best way to like build that sort of discipline or that sort of mindset, that sort of mentality is by repeatedly doing things that you don't feel like doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
it's like pain, right?
Essentially.
Pain is like you learn how to control your emotions through pain.
Man, I recently did this cacao ceremony, and we went through this sort of like meditation practice, right? And we went through this meditation practice where you speak to yourself as you are right now, right? And I spoke to my 40-year-old self, and and I was thinking like, what do I tell him, right? And I was like, man, just know that I love you, and the form of love that I'm gonna give you is discipline.
Ooh.
And I told him, I said, I am going to transform you. You are my life project. You are my piece of art, and I'm gonna transform you into even more of a badass than you already are. And that's exactly what I told him. And I'm gonna stand by that, man. I really am. I owe that to him. You know what I'm saying? And that's a daily practice, bro. That's a daily fucking practice. It's not, I'm gonna do it one day and then I'm done. No, I gotta go to the gym still right after this. I got legs today. I don't really I don't feel like doing it.
Yeah.
But when I get there, I'm gonna figure out a way to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
What's something you would tell yourself? Your younger self.
Shit. Well, my younger self or my current self?
No, your current self. Let's say your current self.
My current self, man, tighten the fuck up.
Yeah.
Get back to where you were at a few months ago, because my head's back in the clouds. My head is getting back in the clouds, and I'm getting back into doing shit that I stopped doing.
Yeah.
For a while, I cut out a lot of bad habits, and I cut out a lot of shit that I wasn't supposed to be doing anyways, and I've gotten back into those habits.
Yeah.
I feel like I relapsed, I've never had a drug problem, so I don't want people to think that when I use the word relapse, it's a drug issue. But I say I relapsed back into my old habits that I've been trying to grow out of.
Yeah.
And I would just tell myself, tighten the fuck up, man. Like, I feel like I find excuses for a lot of the shit that I feel like I can do. Cause bro, I wake up religiously 5 in the morning, 4:30, 5 in the morning, but I stay in bed, bro. I don't be doing shit. That's why I tell you, bro. Like,
I'm gonna put you onto something. I'm gonna put you onto something. There's this book called Hard Times Create Good Men. And the whole concept of the book is hard times create good men creates good times create weak men, and weak men create bad times. And it's a 250-year cycle that sort of reflects like the rise and fall of different empires throughout history. And how we're in this space right now that basically our culture, is designed to do nothing but weaken you, where it's like this comfort and pleasure seeking culture, and that's what you're enticed to. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be very intentional to do the opposite. You know what I'm saying? Because it is the norm, that a standard of living is what they call it. And if you think back, when we used to live back in Guatemala, bro, there was no fucking AC. What do? You deal with the fucking elements.
I mean, I was gonna say that about the cold showers, bro. I didn't start taking warm showers till I think I was like a sophomore in high school, bro. I was taking cold showers. I was just used to it, bro.
Right.
Like I was just used to. I swear to God, even in the locker rooms though, bro. Like they had warm showers in there, but I'm showering cold. Like but one of the things I really wanted to touch on too, bro. As far as like our community and it goes back to the education part that I was given, right? How do you think that a lot of these affluent families have gotten to the point that they're at now, right? There's been somebody in their family that has built this wealth for them that they accessed generations afterwards, right? Their great granddad did something or set something up for his son to do something, and his son kept it going. So I say that to say this, back to the education part, bro. One of the things that I want to focus on too, my risk manager, wealth manager, his name is Wendell. He handles my life insurance policy. He handles a lot of my stuff like that, right? And he's always told me, Andy, I need you to get your license so you can sell life insurance, so you can serve the Spanish community. He's like, they're underserved. And I'm like, you're right, they are. Because how do we build wealth? I have this conversation with a lot of people all the time, but how do you build wealth? I know the answer, and I'm getting ready to share it. But from your guys' perspective, how do you build generational wealth?
I think it starts with, like you said, is education, because I don't think is necessarily money, because you can leave money, and if they're not prepared to manage that, in a productive way, it could be destructive. So you have to first teach them, you know what I'm saying, to know what to do with those resources.
100%.
That's where it starts. There's people that make it and end up creating a lot of money, but when they're gone, their legacy dies because they're, right?
So let's count.
I would second that.
Okay. All right. Cool. So let's talk about not about the people, to some people that make it, but for the average person, for my mom, if she didn't have me, right? If she didn't have me as her son, how does my mom build wealth as a regular? She works 6 to 2:30 every day. How does she build wealth like that?
Investing.
Exactly. There you go. So investing, accounts that can set you up, that accrue compounding interest, your Roth IRAs, your 401ks, your retirement accounts, right? That's what those are, your retirement accounts. Then you have your investment accounts, your Webull, your Acorns, your Robinhood. That's when you're investing into the S&P 500, your Amazons, your Apples, your Walmarts, your Targets, your big name brands, right?
Passive income.
Yeah,
asset producing.
And then not only that, but then you have your life insurance. That's really what really builds wealth right there, bro. Like if you really think about generational wealth and what to leave behind, bro, it's those life insurance plans. It's those life insurance policies. Depending on how you structure a life insurance plan, you can have a long-term plan, a short-term plan. God forbid something happens to you, your family gets paid out, right? From my position, from my point of view, I structured my account to where it's an account that I put money into, and eventually, once it grows to a certain amount of money, I'll be able to take money out of that account, use it for a down payment on a house or a business venture that I have or a car that I want to buy or whatever. Zero interest. I'm borrowing from my own self. I'm paying myself back with interest. Like it's still gaining interest. It's still gaining the compounding interest. And bro, that's the key.
Right.
But nobody in our community is doing anything to have a conference or a lecture or a sermon where they're like, hey, let's do a free sermon. Let's try to fill up 100 chairs and teach people how to do X, Y, and Z.
I didn't know this, but I actually recently just learned this. But you can use life insurance as collateral too.
It's an asset, bro.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, especially in our community, right? A lot of people focus on getting a house. And shout out my brother Aaron Anvil. He's a high level. I don't even want to fuck up what his title is, but he's a private equity, high level private equity branch manager. Like, bro is he's really like that, bro. Like he's managing over 10 figures, like easy. And he came to the city a few weeks ago. I took we took him out, or I took him out to was it Stock Hill on the Plaza, Rock Hill on the Plaza, one of those, Stock Hill, I think.
Rock Hill.
Rock Hill's on Grand. I think it's called Stock Hill. Anyways, so we were talking about how most people are house rich, or people think they're house rich, right? And what banks want to see is liquid assets. And I asked, bro, I said, what do you mean by liquid assets? Like just straight cash? And he was like, well, a diverse portfolio of real estate, investment accounts, life insurance accounts, retirement accounts, all of these are assets, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to the bank and you're saying, hey, I want a $400,000, $500,000 loan, they're going to look at your assets and you got $3 million in assets, bro. They're going to be like, we can give you $800,000. Take 800,000.
And that's the problem with our community, and the problem that we have, especially, with my mom, we do commercial real estate. And when you're trying to help the community to be able to acquire, a property, that's the one thing that they don't have in place is
assets.
It's those assets. They don't have what they need to be able to, their profit and loss, from their business. The taxes are not done correctly.
Debt to income ratio.
Debt to income. I mean, they have they have the cash, but it's not
not enough.
They don't have it like saved up. They have it saved up. Tú sabes, la mentalidad de la alcancía. Sí sabes. And so that's the big part with our community.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. It's a lack of knowledge. It's a lack of knowledge on knowing how to work these systems that are in place. Bro, the federal government sets a limit on how much you can put into these accounts yearly. Why the fuck else would the federal government regulate this if it doesn't work?
Right.
It's a $7,000 limit this year. You can't put more than $7,000 into these accounts. That's the limit. So I mean, why would they limit that? You know what I'm saying? If it didn't work, if people, because I have people tell me all the time, oh, I don't see any returns, or oh, the money's too slow.
Well, it takes time.
It takes time.
It's a compounding interest.
It's compounding interest. People don't understand that though, Dennis. I'm telling you, people don't understand it. People look at their $100 go from 100 to 98 to 92 to 103, and then they pull out at 103. By the time they pay the fucking fees from taking it out, they got 101.76.
Yeah.
So you made $1.76.
That's a good option for everybody, but especially for young people like yourself. You're 27, so you could be a millionaire by the time you get to be in my age, right? Over time, because of the compounding. The earlier you start, the more it is that that you're going to end up generating, right? But there is the problem is that in our community, it's like obviously they migrate here. They don't know any of this. They end up in their 30s, their 40s, and now they're like, okay, so the only thing they know to do is how to work and how to make money, and continually trade their time for money. Exactly. And what happens when you can't do that anymore, right?
Exactly.
What happens when you can't work no more, or you hurt yourself at work? How do you make ends meet when you got mouths to feed and stuff? And it's that, man. It's really moving from what do you call active income to a passive income. It is switching the mindset, really, man. And learning it's education.
Yeah, no, you hit it on the head, Dennis. I feel like everything you said is extremely valid, bro. Our community, our people just need to be more willing to learn and willing to do these things, because, for example, like you said, the compounding interest is more lucrative to the younger folks, right? But at the same time, bro, you don't look like you're 40. I'm telling you, from my point of view, I would have guessed 32, 33. I don't know.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate that.
But again, from my point of view, though, I would still tell you, look into a long-term life insurance or even a policy that offers short-term and long-term disability.
Bro, you need a license.
Because
you need your license, big dog.
Bro, my risk manager told me straight up, and I'm never trying to sell nothing to anybody, bro.
Why?
I tell
You
people
don't
all the
have
time,
your license. It's not like you're trying to do that.
I tell people that all the time. I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to sell you shit, bro. You either gonna be with me on the yacht in 10 years or you gonna watch me be on the yacht in 10 years. So like, which you pick the two. But it's bro, like you have no idea what can happen, bro, from here to the gym, from the gym back home. That long-term life insurance or that long-term disability, short-term disability can take care of you and your family for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So don't disregard just, the accounts because they're compounding interest. There's different ways you can structure that shit. And that shit's not only going to set you up, bro, but that sweet angel you got back there. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's what matters, bro. It's setting up your people so they don't have to struggle the same way that's why I don't have kids, bro. That's why I don't have kids, bro. I'm 27 and I'm not where I want to be at yet because I know the type of life I want to live, bro.
Yeah.
I know the type of shit I want to do, bro. I don't want to wake up in KC every day and have to clock in, bro. Like I was telling
you want real freedom.
I want freedom, bro. I'm waking up in Thailand next week if I want, and then back in Guate just to look at some of my rental properties, and then I'm back in New York just so I can fuck off. I'm telling you,
vision.
That's the vision. That's the goal. That's what I'm gonna do, bro. That's what I'm gonna do, bro.
When you talk about, man, like, especially like people that migrate north, right? Sometimes, and this idea of the American dream, right? They get here, right? You end up falling right into what everybody else is doing, which is, this cogwheel, right? Where you just, clock in, go to work,
exchange
come
time
back,
for money,
pay bills, get a truck, get a house, and you're just continually, bro. A house is not an asset, man.
It's like I said earlier,
it's a
house
liability.
Rich. No, that's what I'm saying. House rich. That's what house rich means. Because if you have a house right now and you go to the bank and you ask for a loan, you cannot have liquid cash money the next day. You can't sell your house from one day to the next, bro, unless you take a 50% loss. Then, yeah, you might have, bro, you're not doing that. Right. But with these accounts, with this investment account, if you have Robinhood and you have 1,000 shares of Amazon and you need to sell 900 shares of Amazon tonight to pay for something, that's liquid, bro. Those are liquid assets. Liquidity, bro. So, yeah, you can use all of that shit as collateral, bro. And again, I always tell people the goal of financial freedom and money management, bro, is OPM, other people's money. So, yeah, you might have 400,000 or 500,000 saved up, bro. That doesn't mean you go and spend that shit.
No.
You go and you tell them people, nah, look, I got $3 million in assets.
How much money can I get?
How much money can I get? And you use their money with their low interest rates, and then credit, bro.
Yeah.
Credit, bro. That's how everybody shout out Dom Kennedy. Shout out Dom Kennedy, bro. OPM.
Right. No, that's a great point, man. Honestly, because that's just the thing is that, this dream that you described is like, it's essentially where you want to get to. Having more things don't mean you got the American dream down. Like having the freedom to be able to go and not have to go to a place every day, not have to clock in every day, and being able to just be free from that, man. Like that's what I think. The dream should be.
It is, yeah, 100%.
Because you can't get the time back, bro. I mean, honestly, like you have, time is your most precious resource. You can't get that shit back, man. You could always make money, but you can't get your time back, man. The years go by quick, homeboy.
Yeah, they do.
You're gonna find yourself at 41 before you know it, and you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, where the fuck did this last decade just go? Where did it go? And for whatever reason, I don't know why, but it seems like the more we advance, the faster the time goes.
You know why though?
This is crazy.
You know why? It's because you're anticipating the next thing. So I'm gonna tell you one of the first times I realized that time switched for me, like my conception of time. Because think about it, when you're a kid, Bro, those 6-7 hours you used to spend at school fucking dragged, bro. They dragged.
Rhyme is relative.
day.
Time is relative, bro.
Yeah.
It really is.
So, but think about it now. I remember when I started working and I started getting paid every 2 weeks, I'm anticipating that paycheck every 2 weeks. So like my time is going so by so quick because I'm just waiting on the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, bro, we 6 months into the year and I'm like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
right.
Damn.
No, it's like, it's like if they tell you, you got 1 minute to live, or if they tell you, hold your breath for 1 minute. When, that 1 minute that you're holding your breath is going to seem forever.
Eternity.
But if they tell you got 1 minute to live, it's going to go by quick. It's the same minute.
Yeah.
But, that's why I said time is relative. And it's so wild because, you know what? One thing, bro, that I noticed when I came to the States is how fast the pace of life is and how much faster time goes by. Because even in 2022, when I went back to Guatemala, I was down there for 2 weeks. And man, it seemed like I was there for a long time, bro. I was like, man, it's only been 3 days, and I'm like, what is it? Like, what is it exactly that?
It's the quality of time you're there.
I don't know, bro.
I don't know. It's different, but I definitely, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I agree. And I've said that before. Let me ask you this, both of you guys, whenever you guys go back to Mexico or Guatemala, how long does it take until you completely start thinking in Spanish, if you'll even do that?
I don't know, man. I got a pretty quick, because my first language was Spanish. You know what I'm saying? I didn't, pero,
Pinche frijol.
Pero sabes que la verdad en español soy mucho más vulgar, ¿verdad? O sea, sobre aviso no hay engaño, dicen, ¿verdad? Pero it's just, it's a quick.
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a good quick switch for me. I can go, like, before I know it, I start speaking just like them. Así de volada.
Yeah, yeah. It takes me about a week or so.
Is that right?
I was gonna say, I think it took me because I was just thinking
about a week.
I remember going to Mexico, and I remember going with my uncle to La Sierra, and I remember thinking in Spanish when I was down there, but I don't remember thinking in Spanish before we went up there. And that was approximately 3.
Yeah, but you guys got here around the same age.
We were 6.
Yeah, you guys were. Yeah, you see what I mean? I was 14.
He was there. Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I was gonna bring that up too. Yeah, man, it's interesting, bro. It's just interesting how the environment plays a big role in like how you talk, or not necessarily how you talk, but how you think or process information.
One of the things that I know that I kept the longest in Spanish was my prayers mentally. Because like for even till now, like primarily when I pray personal, it's in Spanish.
It's just that Latin carries a lot more weight sometimes than English does.
I had to learn how to pray in English. I had to learn how to sound genuine in English.
Yeah.
Because in Spanish, it was like, I was honest. It was just like me and God. But in English, I had to be like, how do I talk to the same guy in a different language?
That's such an interesting, man, that's a great segue into the next topic I wanted to get into, bro. I wanted to ask you, because you grew up in a Catholic household, right? Your people's Catholic? Yeah.
I was baptized Catholic.
There you go. Yeah, and what about you, Dennis?
I was baptized Catholic when I was born, but I mean, I've been in Baptist, I've been in Protestant. I've looked for God in so many different places in religions, and honestly, I think I found them in every one of those places. In every one of those places, I found genuine good people. And there was also the opposite too, but I think there's traces of him in every one of those religions. But here most recently has been the Catholic practice, and praying the rosary every night, and that takes about 20 minutes. Yeah. But I feel like if I don't pray the rosary, then I don't dedicate any time to him. Yeah. And so even if it's just a small window to be able to, in some way reach out to him, you know what I mean? Like an effort.
Yeah. That's interesting. So, Rick, I think you know this, right? You know, my dad's a pastor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Christian?
I grew up Christian. I grew up
Okay.
a pastor's kid. Well, I didn't grow up with my dad. You know, that was always one of the struggles that he had with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
He always would tell my mom to take me to church because growing up,
In Guatemala? He's a pastor in
yeah,
Guatemala?
He's in Guatemala. He's got a big church in Puerto Barrios. I'm
Okay.
telling you, my
Now-
family's very well known down there.
Now, la religión en Guatemala es otro pedo. They have cultos, es lo que le dicen. I don't know
Mhm.
if you know, pero son cultos y tienen cultos todas las noches. It's like
what is a culto?
So
it's
not
like a
it's not-
service. It's like a
yeah,
service.
it's different from cult. So it's not like cult, like what we think of what a cult is. Un culto, it's like it's like
It's
a
a
service or a
service.
gathering.
Ajá.
Tienen cultos todos los días, and that's
Todos
very
los
true.
días. Todos
That's
los
very
días.
true. They take religion a lot more serious down there,
Mhm.
but you know, I've always struggled with religion growing up, bro.
Mhm.
You know, I've always struggled with it, and my dad being a pastor, a Christian pastor at that, he was very adamant on what I should be doing, right?
Yeah.
And I always went against the grain, bro. Like that was always my issue, bro. I love going against the grain. I love when people tell me what to do because I do the exact opposite.
Mm.
That used to be a bad character trait of mine. I've grown out of that for the most part.
Mm.
For the most part. But you know, bro, one of the reasons I put this hat on today is because that's what I believe I am from my family, bro. I'm the black sheep, bro.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm the black sheep, bro. I'm the first Muslim in my family.
Really?
I'm the first I think I'm the first felon in my family.
How long have you been a Muslim?
So I've been a Muslim for over a year now.
You're the first Chapin that's a
Yeah.
Muslim that I've ever met.
And you know what's crazy is it's growing though. It's growing. It's
Yeah.
growing. Yeah, you know, Islam is growing, especially in Mexico and Guatemala. Like it's really starting to spread down there in Central America. But bro, I've been around it damn near all my life, bro. My first girlfriend who I was with, bro, for 6-7 years, bro, she was Muslim. So she was really the one that introduced it to me.
Mm-hmm.
She never taught me anything or talked to me about it, but she told me like, hey, I'm Muslim, I don't eat pork. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, from at that time and at that age, I'm like, oh, okay, that's all that means Muslim is.
Mm-hmm.
So then I would see her sometimes wear her hijab, you know, and they would go to the mosque or the masjid. We say the masjid, and you know, they would go on Fridays, and I'm like, huh, that's different because you know I'm used to going to church on Sundays. Then my right hand man Terry, he really was the one that explained it to me and kind of was like, bro, it's about this, it's about that, and he put me on a artist, the Jacka, and the Jacka, he has a lot of references in his music as far as Islam goes. So I just looked into it, bro, and after I dated that girl, I dated another girl who was also Muslim, and her uncle and myself took her down to school one day, and on the way back, me and bro had like a 3.5 hour, 4 hour conversation about Islam, and that was really what kind of did it for me. That planted that seed in my head and was like, look into it, right? So, bro, like I mentioned, bro, you know, I'm a felon. I'm the first felon in my family. When I went through that case, when I caught that case, Dennis, I was searching for discipline, bro, because again, I told you I had my head in the clouds. I was not seeing shit clearly, and I was missing things that were right in front of me, and I was making mistakes, clear mistakes, in broad daylight. That had I just been more grounded, more with my feet on the ground, more planted, I probably wouldn't have made those mistakes, you know? And, bro, after losing everything, bro, after I caught that case, bro, that case was very expensive. That case was very expensive. It was a very, very bad time for me, bro. I lost a lot, bro. I lost my girlfriend at the time because I was cheating on her. And she found out because my best friend told her. My best friend told my girl that I introduced to her that I was cheating on her. That one hurt. I actually just got over that not too long ago.
Wow.
And that happened like 2.5 years ago. Yeah, she told my girl that I was cheating on her. My girl found out, boom, left me. Right when I caught that case. Like, bro, it was right around the time that I caught that case. And that was one of the people that I really like leaned on at the time, you know? Like, like with you, I feel like I can take over the world type shit. So when I didn't have her, I'm like, damn, I don't have shit. Lost that. Lost a lot of the bullshit that I had going on. at the time, right? With side bitches and shit like that. Nobody was coming through when I needed them to come through the most. And even with my bros, I had a group of bros that, bro, I was basically taking care of these dudes for a few months. And I'm like, hey, man, I need y'all to step shit up and take care of some shit. And I've never asked for that, bro. You know what I'm saying? For me to go out my way and ask for some shit like that, I needed it. And they ain't come through. And I'm like, shit, bro, I'm never about to take care of 2 other grown men, bro. I will go and live downtown where I'm at now and pay less, if not more, than what I'm paying here at this house before I take care of some other people that ain't doing the same shit for me. That's exactly what I did. They thought I was talking shit. They thought I was just bullshitting, being an asshole. I'm like, bro, I'm not doing that. And I got to the point, Dennis, where I'm like, I just want to surround myself with good people. Good people. I want to be more disciplined. I want to be more grounded. I want to be more centered. So I took my Shahada last May. I took my Shahada last May, right before Eid. So our Eid is a big Muslim holiday. So Eid's coming up next Friday. And yeah, bro, like, it makes sense to me because I've always questioned religion, right?
Right.
I've always questioned it. I've always questioned the validity, like if it's real, if it's valid. I've always questioned that. I've always looked for fallacies or things that are false that I've read or heard in certain things, right? And to me, bro, from my point of view, the place I was in my life at that time, bro, it just made sense. It made sense. Everything made sense to me because I've always said to myself, I don't think I'm religious. I'm more spiritual. I have a personal relationship with God. And I mean, that's kind of what Islam is, bro. Islam, we believe in one true God. There's just one God that you pray to. You don't pray to a son. You don't pray to a spirit. You don't pray to anybody. Of course, we have prophets. Of course, we believe in Jesus. Jesus was one of our prophets, as well as Muhammad, peace be upon him. And, bro, it just made sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a very factual person. Even with Catholicism, bro, when I found out that in Catholicism they used to sell, God, there's a word for it, bro. I always forget the word when I'm talking about it. But basically, it was like they sell forgiveness, bro. There is, whenever trying to build the Sistine Chapel and fund the war that they had with the Ottoman Empire at the time, they came out with these, like, forgiveness. Like, there was self-forgiveness. Indulgence. That's what it's called. I think that's the word, indulgence. So you would buy that, and it basically, they would say, like, okay, your sin is forgiven. And, bro, when I found that out, I'm like, bro, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, like that. I think that, some people give religion bad names, right? And and like I said, man,
wait. If you bought it?
Yeah, we fact checked me. I think it's called an indulgence. It was something they were selling. The church was selling it because they needed to fund the war and the building of the Sistine Chapel. Yeah. Please, by all means, fact check me on that. But what you're saying is exactly true, Dennis. There's always going to be bad people in every religion, right?
Right.
So
I'm sure there's probably something within even your own.
Of course. I mean, the biggest thing that everybody's going to say about Islam is the terrorists. Oh, you're a terrorist. Oh, you believe in the extremists. You believe in jihad. You believe in X, Y, and Z. And it's like, bro, if you really take the time to learn about my religion, our religion, you would see that it's the religion of peace.
Right. And when like one person that I always admire, like in terms of like Catholicism, for example, has been Ricky's mom. Actually, like she's served, and she's very devoted to her faith, and and so I know that in every religion there is good people,
100%.
And I can't say that I consider myself a Catholic, right? I can't say that. I am a believer in Jesus Christ and always will be. But I think that if you go and you ask 10 people who God is, you're gonna get 10 different answers.
Yes.
And that's the thing. So it's almost like where I stopped listening to people because I'm like, let me go find out myself. Honestly,
Exactly.
because what does the word say? And so I'm like, let me just read it myself, because I don't want to leave the interpretations to somebody else. Like it is too important to really leave that interpretation to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did. I started diving into it, getting some Bible studies, doing and trying to really understand, because I feel like me that I there was some sort of like divine intervention, right, for me when I really started going down the spiritual path. And I'm not your typical Christian. I actually went down the path of plant medicine, and had some, ceremonies, and ayahuasca is not a very Christian. It's not a Christian practice,
It's not.
And I want people to make sure they understand that that's like a small part of who I am.
Would you say that plant? So, would you say that plant medicine is something that people need to experience before, or at least when they make a choice of like the type of religion they would like to get into? Because, and I say that because, my experience with psychedelics have affected my belief system. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of religion.
What I'm gathering from Dennis is you sound a lot like what I sounded like before I took my Shahada. I always said I was more spiritual more than religious, because you believe in something, right? You do believe in something. You know there's something greater than you.
Yeah.
You know that for a fact. But go ahead, answer that question on if you believe that.
But what I was saying basically was that it's always been a personal search of me for God. And have I looked for him in the wrong places? I don't know. I think sometimes I have, especially when I try to make plant medicine the one thing, because at some point it was like, okay, I had a good experience the first few times. It did help. It produced some good, right? But then I wanted to keep going back to the same thing, thinking that I was going to find them there, but it's not. It wasn't the plant medicine. That was just a tool that maybe God utilized at the time to be able to get me to open up, so that I can see that there is something far more greater than what I was seeing.
And that's what I talked to my mom, because like back to the educational thing, and this applies not only to cannabis but also, plant medicine and therapy. And one of the things that my mom struggles with is like, well, why can't people just go to church and they could experience these deliverances, or you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, some people are blocked. I was like, they're blocked and they need something to completely unclog them. And then I feel like in our case, because I've never had what people would call like a deliverance, when people
That's
fall.
what I was going to ask you guys. So like between you guys, do you guys believe in like demonic possession and like catching the Holy Spirit? Like, do you actually believe like the people that get?
I believe in good and evil.
That's not what I'm asking.
I believe that through pain and trauma, you can inflict. I think through pain and trauma, you can allow things like spirits to
manifest in reality
in you.
So the reason I asked that is because that's one of the things that I told my mom that I felt like I disagreed with Christianity. I'm like, Mom, if I'm going to church to go pray to God, or if I'm going to church to listen to God's word or whatever, why do I feel fear? Why am I fearful of the people around me that are sitting there fucking shaking like they're crazy? Like, bro, I don't believe in that, bro.
Right. No,
I don't believe in it. And that scares me, bro.
So, there is such a thing as a physical manifestation of spirit, right? And like let's say, for example, in plant medicine, right? And those ceremonies, they don't call it that, right? Deliverances, they call it more like a purge, but it's very similar in nature when something is essentially, because the body is a vessel, bro, and you're carrying something at all times, right? And this is, something that might not even really belong to you, bro. This could be, let's say, generational curses
It's a
or sins.
generational demon. The way
So-
JL
Right,
explained it.
but what I'm saying is that when these things, entities or whatever are coming out, they manifest in a certain way, right? And it is scary. It really is scary.
Now
yeah.
there's people who oversaturate that.
So
There's people that catch the Holy Ghost every Sunday.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing though. Like, bro, me seeing it as a kid, it didn't make me want to be in that space. It didn't make me want to be in church. I
Right.
don't want to go to that.
Was this in Guatemala or was this here?
It was here.
Okay. All right.
It was here. And I seen it in Guatemala too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's
And
the thing.
Guatemala is huge.
Yeah,
in,
but see, I
in the
don't-
Catholic Church, I didn't see it during the Mass. I would see it during retreats, but during the Sunday Mass, never saw it.
So how much of that is actual mental health though?
Yeah.
Well, I you know,
And the reason I say that, the only reason I say that,
but
then is
listen,
the only
listen. From experience, this is not me. I've been in these rooms when these things are being performed. I get what you're saying. I get when it does. It is mental health, right?
And the only reason I say that is because I work in this setting and we have patients that come in and they show these traumas, they show these things, and it's like from a science point of view, from a medical standpoint, it's like no, there isn't a demon trying to tell you to do X, Y, and Z. We just need to get you on. We need to detox you, and we need to do this, and we need to do that to get you on this. And, I wonder how much of that, because again, mental health in our community is very undiagnosed. We don't talk about mental health in our community. And
have you ever seen Man on the Moon?
Is that a movie? No.
Yeah.
No.
With Jim Carrey?
No.
He becomes ill and he goes outside of the country to find his cure. And when he gets there, he's in line and this guy's like pulling worms out of people's stomach, right? Because he thinks that that's what's wrong with him. And while he's in line, he notices that his hands grab the worm and he acts like he's taking that out of people's stomach when he's really not. But people believe that that's going to help them. And that's the thing. It's like sometimes people just need that belief. And I'm not saying that, you know what I'm saying, that the demons or they're not there, but the people believe that it helps. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because, like I said, I've sat in these rooms. I've sat in these rooms and I've sat with people that came to my mom because they felt like they needed prayer. And my mom didn't do nothing out of the abnormal.
But see, that's different.
She didn't exercise.
But see, that's different though. That's different.
But let me explain to you. Let me explain to you the process so you understand it.
Here's the thing. So before you explain the process, I just want to tell you, like, there's a difference though, because like I understand that, and your mom isn't the type of person that I feel like would do something for showmanship or for show, right?
No.
It would be something that's very genuine and something that's really coming from the heart.
What my mom does is almost what people do when it comes to mental health, because she asks questions and she's like, why are you coming here? What's bothering you? What's been like, she tries to gather this information so when she prays for this person, she's trying to cast that out. And when people hear that, when she says, when she's sitting there, she's like, depression, I cast you out in the name of Jesus, or anxiety or trauma or child molestation, whatever she says, when people hear, I cast you out of her body or out of his body, when people hear that, they believe it, bro.
Yeah, it's powerful, but because it's coming from a genuine place though, Rick. I feel like the stuff that I've seen was in a congregation with a pastor that's just hyping people up, and then one person starts shaking, then the next person starts, then the next person, then he goes around and he's toque, he said, say es maya la gente, toque, say maya la gente.
But some
like,
people,
bro, that's a show to me, bro.
But that's also crowd mentality, because it's like a domino effect. The father comes in there,
100%,
makes the first one fall, and then the next one's coming. They're like, I gotta fall too.
I will say, when it comes to like Western medicine, which is sort of like what you're describing in terms of like diagnosis and treatment and things like that, I've never been a huge believer in it. Mostly because, if it actually worked, we wouldn't have this epidemic of anxiety and depression and all this other stuff. I mean, the VA, the VA hasn't have a very good effective treatment for PTSD for soldiers. You still have, at the time that I checked, it was like 17 military members killing themselves every day, and their success rate was like 30%, which, and then you have this this project going on in Texas with Heroic's Heart project, where they're taking plant medicine like ayahuasca, iboga, mushrooms, and they're having a much higher success rate when it comes to treating this trauma. And so, in terms of like, is this an illness? Is it a spirit? What is it? Just think about the nature of a human being. Okay, we're multi-dimensional beings. We're here in this physical form, right? We're emotional beings, right? And we're spiritual beings. We experience reality in different, ways, right? And some people, I feel like, are more connected to those dimensions than others. Some people are more grounded, right? And they are more in this 3D. And so they go down the Western medicine route. Other people are more spiritual, and they go down that spiritual route, and then they kind of heal holistically, right? And so there's not a one like silver bullet and one fix all. We're all different. You know what I'm saying? But there is such thing as beliefs and like a placebo effect, for example, right? Like that they use FDA to be able to, make sure if medicines actually work or they don't. They have to beat the placebo effect. But there are some people already getting good results from just thinking that they're taking the right medication. So, we're wired differently, bro. We're wired differently. And one thing I can tell you though, when I went down the medicine, the plant medicine route, is like I ended up going into this like very spiritual state where I was just always up here, and I was, interpreting my reality mostly through the spiritual lens and seeing things synchronistically, and just kind of having a really hard time connecting with the material 3D world and just systems and things that humans create to be able to function. And so I became very critical of these things, right? And it was like this separation where I'm like, man, I don't know that I want to be part of that anymore and things like that. So here, most recently, I started just I haven't been practicing, right? I haven't had any ceremony and stuff. I'm grounding myself back down because I feel like that I got an opportunity to live this life, that God put me here for a purpose, and I am supposed to be present. I'm supposed to be here present. And yes, it's messy sometimes. Yes, there is fucking chaos going on out there, but there's also a lot of fucking good. But it's like, and there's also a lot of opportunity to create a lot of good. You know what I'm saying? And so while I do like to be spiritual, I want to be up here sometimes, I know I have to come back down so that I can be of service, because that's what I'm here for. Eventually, I'm gonna end up there anyways. I'm gonna exit this vessel. I'm gonna fucking die, and I'm gonna be a spirit, right? Because you are a Muslim. I'm a Christian, but one thing we can agree on is that when this is over, there's something else on the other side. Yeah, we can agree on that. Yeah. And so that is the one thing that I'm like, okay, well, let me just be here, let me be present, and let me be of service. Yeah. Whether I'm a Muslim, a Catholic, or that's irrelevant. Go do good with the time that you have. Go be of service. Yeah,
I feel like with what you said as far as Western medicine and how they're used to handling mental health and issues like that, that's one of the things that man is going to be a struggle to figure out, because I saw something last night that it was saying how nurses down south, right, from like down south, we'll use Florida for example. This example came out of Florida. When a person goes into these emergency rooms or to these psych facilities to detox, whether it's alcohol or whatever, let's use alcohol for example. The example was revolving around alcohol. Bro, the nurses down there are handing them beer. they're giving the patient beer. And I feel like that's so important because it's like, help the people that want to be helped. You know what I'm saying? There are some people that don't want to give up their addiction to alcohol. They just had a fucked up night. They ended up in the psych ward. That doesn't mean they're ready to give all that up. But psychiatrists are so quick to put people on Ativan and tell them you need to detox, and if you drink on this drug, on this medicine, it's gonna make you sick, and this, then, the third. Bro, they stop taking the medicine. There's no true help in that cycle, you know? So I agree, bro. I feel like plant medicine is definitely beneficial. There was a research or a study that came out that it looks like psilocybin mushroom is about to start.
Right.
It's
already been approved by the FDA for trials.
Yeah.
As in therapeutic settings.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, but, and you know what, bro, I can't even really say, I'm only talking out of experience. Right. And I mean, cause I did have anxiety. I did have depression. It was manifesting already physically in a way where my digestive system was going to shit. You know what I'm saying? So I was actually a bit older than you when my whole health started going to shit. You know, and they had me on 5 different medications. I was on anxiety medication, depression medication, PPIs, asthma medication, and nothing was fucking helping. And so at some point I had to just cut everything out, and you know, and I had to like start really trying to learn, because they didn't even know what the fuck was wrong with me. Yeah. You know, to the point where, bro, I was driving 8 hours north to Minneapolis to go to the #1 hospital. What was? Gosh, I can't think about it. The name of it. Right now, but I used to drive 8 hours to go to my appointments, and they couldn't figure out what the hell was going on with me, you know. And I got to a point where I'm like, you know what, I made a conscious choice. I'm gonna get better, and I'm going to read whatever I need to read and start looking into plant medicine. And I feel like in a way I was being guided. I thankfully I'm here. I'm better now. I obviously had to do a lot of lifestyle changes. You know, alcohol had to go, cigarettes went, everything went, and then I started just nourishing myself. You know what I'm saying? I think plant medicine at the time just helped with the mental health part of things, and but now. I'm sort of like kind of circling back around to the Western medicine type, because I got an official diagnosis. So, you know, I was diagnosed with ADHD. Okay. So in my case, I'm like, well, I don't want to mess with stimulants. You know, I don't want to do amphetamines. So what other options do we have? So, you know, I ended up, you know, getting some non-stimulant options. I want a second type of medication that I wanted to try, because I didn't like the side effects on the first one. And so, but it's mostly trying to figure out, you know, can I dial in on my focus? You know what I mean? And impulsivity, which is mostly, you know, but I feel like discipline has really helped me in that way, because even though I've had this condition, my discipline has been crazy, you know what I mean? And that's allowed me to help me deal with it. And so, do I completely rule out Western medicine? No. But I've found a lot of value in plant medicine. And so, you know what I mean? Everybody's different, man. Everybody's different. So,
you know, I share a similar experience to your ayahuasca trip. In 2018, I probably had one of the worst trips I've ever had on LSD. I took a fat dose that night. Yeah, bro. I think I took like 400 micrograms, maybe 500. It was a lot. Like, so the strip that I had.
What do you compare it to? Like in a like a shroom quantity?
Had to be like at least 7 G's, maybe more. Honestly, it was a lot, bro. Yeah. It was a lot. But I don't know if I experienced ego death that day or not. You know, my buddy and I, who he's my right hand man, James, who was with me that night.
What made you go there, or what was the purpose of it? Was it just experimental, or was there?
So I just had it. I had a I had a lot of it at the time, right? And I was just using it recreationally. But that night, it fucked me up. This is what sent me into the bad trip, because that night, I had already planned. I had my whole night planned out. I was gonna go to my boy James' house. I was gonna go spend the night there with him because we were gonna trip, and I knew that I had to spend a night there because there was no way I was gonna drive back home. Bro, literally like 30 minutes before I left, my mom comes in my room. She's like, "Son, we're going to the hospital. We're gonna go see your grandma. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Nah, I don't want to go." Like, you know what I'm saying? I had in my head, I already had everything planned out.
Yeah.
Right. So I didn't think about it. I went to my boy's house. Boom, we're taking the tabs. We're playing Fortnite. I'm having the time of my life. Then it hits me. Then it hits me. That first thought. You know how it goes, bro. That first thought. Damn, you should I have gone to the hospital for my grandma? Boom, that set off everything negative, bro. Next thing I know, my character on Fortnite is running up against an invisible wall. My homie looks over to me. He's like, "Bro, you good?" And I remember just looking at him, and he told me, he was like, "I'll never forget that look." He was like, "You weren't there. Like, that was not you." And I forgot my name that day, bro.
Bro, that's the thing that I feel like psychedelics essentially doing. They're so terrifying, and the strips sometimes end up really changing you, is because you disassociate with identities.
Oh, bro, that's I think that's what happened to me, Dennis. And I don't know if I had ego death or not that day, because again, I forgot my name, bro. I forgot my name, and you know about LSD, bro. So you know that shit lasts 8 to 10 hours, 12 hours minimum, bro. Minimum. So hear me out on this, bro. So I got so bro, I was so messed up, bro. Like, I literally forgot my name. I didn't know who I was. Like, I did not know who I was. Like, I pulled my phone out and I was looking at myself, and I couldn't recognize myself. I forgot my name. And I remember I was telling James, like, "Bro, who am I? Like, what's my name?" He was like, "What do you mean, bro? You're Andy. Like, what do you mean?" And he's looking at me crazy because he's older than me, but I've always been the dude that's always cool and composed, right? Like, I've never been too drunk to drive, or I've never been too high. Or I've always been the one to take care of shit, right? So that night he had to take care of me. Like, I was fucked up, bro. But man, I pulled myself out of that high. I don't know how I did it, Dennis, but that shit only lasted about 2.5 hours for me. And when I pulled myself out, I remember I was just so thankful. I was so thankful. I had so much gratitude. And I had so much clarity, and I said that was the start of everything that I said I was gonna do, bro. I told James, I said it out loud. I'm like, "Bro, I'm gonna get a job. I'm gonna get my money up. I'm gonna do this, then the third. Bro, I said it that same night, and I remember I stayed up the whole night, called my dad like at 6 a.m, had a really deep conversation with him about everything that I had experienced, and bro, I agree with you, bro. I feel like LSD isn't plant medicine, but psychedelics can definitely change your perspective on life.
It does.
It opens up neural pathways. That's the thing with like psychedelics, is it opens up neural pathways because it can help stutter. Yeah, it can help heal stuttering, because stuttering is a thought process.
Well, what happens is, that what Rick is referring to is this narrow pathways that you create through everything that you've experienced, throughout lives. They become habits. The majority of your, the way your brain is wired is like unconscious, right? Like 95% of it, only 5% is consciousness. So the big majority of like the information that you're processing, bro, is subconscious.
Well, it's also like, as we grow, our brain kind of goes on autopilot as far as like the lanes it uses to create these thoughts, right?
Right.
And psychedelics, and the same with like, you create these habits of depression thoughts, sad thoughts or things that trigger you, and the more it's almost like a water. It's like when water flows through a river. The more it flows, the deeper that river is going to get, and obviously it's not going to create a new river. It's just going to keep using that. And psychedelics help regenerate those neural pathways and use old pathways that we had created before. So you end up distributing different thoughts, because there was a podcast that I watched where someone was explaining how they got rid of their stutter through psychedelics because it helped them realize the things that were triggering it, and it also helped them create new ways. So now when they talk, they don't refer to those same words anymore because those words trigger.
It's their beliefs. Remember, we were talking about it that time. But then a collective of beliefs becomes like a paradigm.
Yeah.
Right. And so this basically was it creating your entire reality. Right. And so psychedelic has a way of just disassembling that and allowing for you to be able to create new paths, right? And so detaching from identities, because it's like who's Andy, right? Who's Andy? Like today I was actually listening to a podcast where it was talking about el ser, el hacer y tener, ¿verdad? Which one is first, ¿verdad? Porque muchas personas piensan que son lo que hacen.
Yeah.
To be, to do, or to have.
Yeah, to be, to do, or to have. Some people think that they are what they do, or some people identify with what they have. And that's right. But who are they? Who are you at your core? Who's Andy? In the marijuana industry, or as a translator. I mean, what translates in anything that you do that is constant, right? I mean, who would you be if you would have actually been raised in Guatemala,
I think
right?
about that all the time.
How would you have turned out, as opposed to here coming to the States? They would have been something to steal.
I think about that all the time.
Well, I would have died.
You think
I
so?
would have died down there. Hell yeah.
I would have. I always envisioned my life in Mexico troubled.
Yeah. I would have died. So my brothers were already having issues with being in gangs and shit growing up. But my dad, he was so tough on them and so strict with them that they ended up being good on that. But that was one of the reasons why my mom wanted to get us out of there. And me being me, bro, the type of person I was growing up and just wanting to go against the grain and do shit my way, I feel like I would have.
Well,
I either would have ran some shit down there or would have got.
You think that maybe having your dad more consistently in your life would have made an effect on that? Do you feel like maybe you struggle with authority because he was down there?
I feel like that's exactly what it was, bro. I feel like that's one of the things that I even told him one day. We had a conversation, and I think it was the first time I had got arrested, bro.
Yeah.
I was telling him, I'm like, bro, like I needed you, bro. Like I needed you to be here and just kind of just guide me with certain shit, right? But bro, it's a different type of guidance that I'm needing, bro. I don't want the type of guidance where you just tell me to go to church.
Yeah.
That doesn't help me in any way.
Well, you're a grown man now.
I am a grown man now.
You know what I'm saying? Because I feel you when you say that.
But even at the time, though, Rick, like I'm not gonna find the guidance or the answers that I'm looking for in church at that time, bro. A lot of the things that I got into when I was younger, it was just because I was making poor choices and surrounding myself with the wrong type of people.
Right.
And had I just had that older, that's what George was to me at one point, bro. Not my father, but I mean, he would tell me like, "Yo, quit fucking with them cats."
Yeah.
Like he would tell me straight up, like, "Bro, quit fucking with them. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. Nah, quit fucking with them."
Yeah.
And I never had that, bro. I never had that. I never had anybody tell me like, "Yeah, no, you shouldn't be around those people or that dude because they do X, Y, and Z." And even when I did, I probably did have a couple girlfriends or some people that somebody was like, I'm not too fond of that person, or I'm not too fond of those individuals. But it's the way you communicate it and the way you say it to where I can receive it in that fashion, in that way, But 100%, bro. I've told him that, and I don't blame him for it. Because at the end of the day, I always gravitated towards older homies, older people. Clearly, shit, I always gravitated towards you and George.
I don't, sometimes like in my case, like Sheila's in Dallas, and sometimes like the best thing for me might not be to move to Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It might be good for her, but I don't know what it's gonna do to me. And that means that I might not be the best thing for her down there. Mm-hmm. I might be better for her here. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, like, I don't blame your father for, I don't know your guys' story, but I could understand him. if he chose to stay down there for whatever reason.
You know, I don't know if it was a choice. You know, my father had a child out of wedlock, so I have a half brother that's like 6-7 months younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was with him since she was like 17, 18, 19, something like that. You know, he's a bit older than her. But it was his choice, you know. It was his choice. And again, I don't blame him for any of that because he put like everything he had on the line. Like, bro, when I tell you we were poor, bro, like my mom, she would tell me stories that I don't even remember them, bro. But she was like, bro, we were so poor, son. I love soups, by the way. So this is why this is important. I love soups. I grew up eating soups a lot, bro. So my mom told me, she was like, son, we were so poor one day that I sent your brother across the street to your aunt's house to get some chicken bones just to make broth.
Mm-hmm.
And my aunt told my brother to go back and tell my mom to stop being lazy and go to work. That's how poor we were, bro. Yeah, that's how fucked up we were, bro. So
crazy.
I know
This is
right?
back
It's
home.
fucked
This
up.
is back
It's
in
back
Guatemala.
Yeah, it's back in Guatemala,
Bro, ain't no joke, man. You know, it's so wild, man. How people used to. I remember it used to make mamachos. I don't know if you remember what those are. De las tortillas. You know, you just crumble them with salt and lemon.
That's all.
Hey.
We didn't even crumble them. I didn't know that. See, we just put them en el comal y ahí le echas un poquito de limoncito y sal.
Con agua azucarada.
Bro,
like es todo. Like agua azucarada, and it's like. But you know what, bro? It never felt like suffering.
Fucking
nah, it didn't.
It never.
Tortillas are essential to the diet.
I swear to God.
And then you know when we didn't have food to eat, we'll go to the river and we'll fish and and then we'll make some fish, you know, and
to this day, like I remember. So when I went back to Mexico, back to my homie Hummer, he invited me to dinner when I was there. You know what I'm saying? And bro, I swear to God, like this dinner was the most simple dinner, right? It was nothing but tortillas and frijoles, bro.
But it was so good, wasn't it?
But the way that the way that his wife made the fucking frijoles, bro, and she had like a salsa that you put on them that's specifically for that dish, bro. I swear to God, it was like the best fucking frijoles I've ever fucking had.
You know, man, I think we don't realize how great we had it, you know, because sometimes
it's the options, bro. The thing about America is the amount of fucking options and opportunities we have here that we don't appreciate the most simple thing, like basic living.
But I'm starting to look at it the other way. You know, you're thinking about like the quality of life that we actually live back then.
You look at it that way, but the people here don't look at it that way because of your background. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. Is like, how do we get people to understand this? Because this is the problem with community. This is the reason why Kansas City has a fucking problem, because we have people in Kansas City who don't understand where we come from. They don't understand how much. My dad once told me, he's like, you know, because I was struggling financially at some point. He's like, you know, you think you're budgeting? He's like, but there's another level to that. And then there's another level to that. You know what I'm saying? And same with us. Same with everyone here. It's like, you guys think you guys are changing or you're making a change. There's still another level to that.
Bro, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I agree with that, bro. Because there was times where, man, I've been my mom's accountant since I was like 11, bro. You know, I got all that ladies' logins and passwords and socials and everything, bro. I know everything about but but bro, like it's so true, bro. Because shit, I make over 5 figures a month, bro. And sometimes I'm like, fuck, bro. Like no me alcanza para algunas cosas, and I'm just like, how the fuck did my mom do that shit? Getting $400 weekly from Wendy's, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, bro. How did you do that? And I tell her all the time, I'm like, mami, yo no sé tú cómo lo hiciste. Like, and she would tell me, it's like, es la necesidad, mijo. Like, I had to. Like, I had to do X, Y, and Z. And, bro, I'm telling you, bro.
You make adjustments.
That's one of the things
the more you have, the more you spend.
Yeah.
And that's the nature of this culture.
Too light living.
I'm changing that. I'm changing that though. Listen, I'm changing that. I've let go of a lot of shit though, bro. I've let go of a lot of shit. You know, I haven't really bought clothes for like that for myself in a minute, bro. I haven't bought any extracurricular stuff like things, computers, technology things. Bro, I've really let go of a lot of things, and I just like experiences, bro.
Yeah.
Like I love experiencing good food, a good time, a good travel. Shit like that. And I enjoy gift giving too, bro. Like I really do. Like that's one of my things I enjoy doing for people, bro. Cooking for people, getting shit for people, bro. Like I need to go get some change from the bank tomorrow. It was my little niece's birthday yesterday, and I told her I'm gonna give you some money this year for your birthday. So I'm gonna go get her some tools. I think I'm gonna do $50.
Yeah.
$2 bills.
I seen you just well, you did a Amazon wish list.
Oh yeah, I bought yeah. So I had told her, I said, you know, if you graduate nursing school with all A's,
Yeah.
get whatever you want from your wish list.
Yeah.
So she sent me a little wish list, and she told me too, like, bro, this is the most humble girl I've ever met, bro. She told me, she was like, you do not have to give me everything. She was like, just pick 1 or 2 things. And she knows me, bro. She knows she's fucking with me, bro. So she knows that I'm gonna get her everything, bro. So I got her everything on there, bro. Graduating with all A's from nursing school to me is a huge accomplishment, bro. Because I'm not that smart, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that smart.
Didn't George give you $100 one time? Bro, George used to piss me the hell off, bro. One time we went to the mall. You have George qualities, bro. You do stuff that George did. And I remember one time we were at the mall and Aaliyah, she asked for something from Claire's.
Mm.
This fool's he gives her $100 to spend at Claire's. Yeah. I'm like, bro, chill.
And low key, bro, I'm telling you, bro, it's just, I don't know, man. I do feel like I definitely agree. Like I did see George be that same way. He did the same shit with you, bro. He bought you some sneakers. I was with him the day he bought you some sneakers, I think.
Nah, he didn't buy me no sneakers.
What, bro?
He made a bet with me. He said, this is our bet, bro. Every time we went to the goddamn mall, because we was making bread. We were both making good money, bro. And our bet was like, every time we go to the mall, whoever don't get no sneakers is gay.
But is that why you were supposed to get sneakers for your birthday every year and shit?
Bro, every time we went to the mall together, whoever left with no sneakers was gay.
Hey, just for the record, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being gay,
but because we're not, you know what I'm saying? We was like, damn, bro, all right, bet. But it wasn't even about that. It was about not losing the bet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And sometimes it was almost like, you didn't work that much this weekend, bro? What? You know what I'm saying? It was almost like a money thing. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
but
I feel that. Rick, let me ask you this, bro, because I feel like we share this. We share this, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was it like growing up, dating outside of your race, and having so many friends that were not?
I lost them all. Lost them all.
As far as?
Like, they didn't fuck with me because I dated outside of my race.
You're talking family?
Oh, I'm talking friends.
Damn, friends too?
I'm talking friends.
Friends too?
I mean, as far as family, they like, at first it was hard with my mom. My mom was the first one that was like, it was hard for her, but because my mom has an intention to love, she fought it. You know what I'm saying? She fought it, and she eventually just understood it and was okay with it. But when it came to my friends, I felt like it showed the racism in them. And I was just like, especially when she was born, once I had her, I was like, I don't give a fuck what y'all think or feel. Like, my baby's half. And if you are going to feel any type of way, then you can get the fuck away from me.
That's crazy, bro. So friends, what kind of friends were those? Just like Spanish friends? Hispanic friends? That's crazy.
Like niggas that say mayate and shit like that.
Yeah.
When they say that shit, bro, I'm like, it would irk me, bro. I'm like,
yeah.
And then when George came around, it was a whole nother level to that, because I'm like, bro, how does this motherfucker show up and show me way better qualities, way better friendship? And y'all got the nerve to be mad at me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's not excluding Dennis. Dennis is fucking great friend, bro.
That's one of the things.
Solid.
Dennis is a great friend, bro.
That's been solid.
Yeah. That's one of the things, bro, that bro, I feel like that's one of the things I was actually talking to one of my homegirls about today. You know, just talking about how, like, we get so distant from our family sometimes due to that type of racism, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, rest in peace, my grandmother. I remember she made a racist comment one day about one of the girls I was dating, bro. Bro, I flipped the dinner table on her and my mom.
Yeah.
And they never made a comment like that ever again. one of my cousins had a baby outside the race, and I mean, they gave her hell for that shit too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I never seen an issue with it, bro. Like, why are y'all worried about who she's with or who I'm with?
Nah, bro. Wait till they have blood. It's gonna change everything. Cause now my mom's like, she's there, bro. She's like, I love it. I like having a mixed baby. She loves it, bro. Like she wants another one.
They're fun to play with.
She wants another one, bro. But it took having blood, and it took me having blood to completely close that racial door. Where I'm like, if you don't fucking support it, bro, like it doesn't mean like I fuck with everybody. I treat everybody like I don't even fuck with my own if they're wrong. You know what I'm saying? But it's like when she was born, I was like, there's no way I'm ever gonna change this anymore. Yeah, you gotta respect it.
No, I feel you. My tia, she told me the other day, she was like, mijo, she was like, when you gonna bring your girlfriend around some more, this and the third? I'm like, shit, whoa, slow down. Slow down. But I told her, I'm like, well,
in your case, it's not just the race thing, it's also the religious thing too.
It is that
so
too.
you got it a little more rough.
And then not only that, but like, bro, my uncle, I love him to death, but he be saying some slick shit, bro. And I know me, bro. I know me. If my person is with me, and bro, this happened a few months ago, bro. Shit, this poor girl is traumatized. She told me the other day she's traumatized because of what happened, bro. Somebody disrespected her in the grocery store. I put hands and feet on him.
Was I not here for this? What are we talking about?
You wasn't here, bro.
I was taking a piss.
I ain't tell nobody. This is random. This is random. I got into a little scuffle a few months ago because somebody disrespected who I was with.
Yeah.
I put hands and feet on dude, and she was traumatized, bro. She was like, I didn't know you were like that. Why would you do that? I was embarrassed, this, then the third. But I don't go for that shit, bro. I don't go for no type of disrespect. And I fear that if I were to bring somebody around my family, my uncle, somebody's going to say some slick shit. And I'm going to be the bad guy at the end of the day.
You're going to be the black sheep, man.
I'm going to be the black sheep, baby. I'm going to be the black sheep, baby, at the end of the day. I'm telling you, that was intentional, bro. I bought this hat the other day. I seen it, and that was intentional, bro, because I am, bro. But I tell you what, though, bro, I'm going to be the one to change everything for my family, bro. Yeah. I'm going to be the one to create.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always felt like that, right? And I don't know if this came from because I'm an immigrant and because I acknowledged when my parents brought me over to America that, they were trying to provide me with different opportunities, but at the same time, I'm like, I could always foresee things, you know what I'm saying? Like I could look at what someone already did and be like, okay, that's what you get if you go there. That's what you get if you go there. I can work that route. I can work that path and achieve what they've achieved. But I'm like, nah, I want to do something different. I want to do my own thing. I have to feel like if I do this and if I mix this with this, I can go there. I can go farther. Or I can create something. You know what I'm saying? And that always pushed me to do everything that I do now. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I wouldn't be where I'm at, bro, if I didn't have all the ingredients that I have. If George wouldn't have came in my life and implemented what he implemented in me, I wouldn't be able to teach her some of the stuff that he taught me. And I would have never learned that if I wouldn't have accepted him as my friend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Ever, bro. And it's something that I'll never regret in my life, bro, because, like, I love her. I love her dearly. And I would, even if I'm not, just because I'm not with her mom, it doesn't mean that, like, there's no regret there at all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? At all. Like, I told her before, I was like, I couldn't have had you with anyone else. I wouldn't have had you. You know what I'm saying? It would have been a different soul. Yeah. But because God wanted her to be born to be here because he has a purpose for her. And it had to happen the way it happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wouldn't change it for nothing, bro. And I feel like since I've met you, bro, you've always had that. I've always related to you because you've always been like me in that sense. We're different, you know what I'm saying? But we have similarities in that sense where we're always in different cultures. We're trying to learn from different, we're trying to pick up different habits.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and again, I mean, it goes back to the first thing I told you at the beginning, bro. That's just mad love and respect for you, bro, to even still be willing to do that, though, bro. You know what I'm saying? Some people get so comfortable in just their own space or their own community or their own deal that they're doing, their own thing, bro. They don't care to grow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You've always you've always grown in any environment that you're in, bro. Whether it's rap, whether it's media, even gaming, bro. Now you weren't fucking with me on the gaming, bro.
Nah.
But you were up there.
Not
Hey,
at all.
bro, thought I was cheating, bro.
Bro, I thought bro
I was cheating.
I was like, bro,
Call of Duty?
Yeah, no, this dude. Before he was streaming, I was like, bro, you gotta stream, bro.
Yeah,
like you are above average.
I forgot that you went through that gaming period where you was like,
I was really trying to be. I was trying to game until
that was before podcasting.
Until I started playing with Andy, and I'm like, bro,
you shatter his dream, bro.
Don't do that.
You shatter his dream.
No, Andy's a real deal, bro. On Call of Duty,
I'm the truth.
He's the truth. He's the truth.
He said, "I'm the truth." Shout out, Anthony Edwards.
I'm the truth. Yeah. I mean, at one point, I remember we was a little competitive.
Yeah,
know?
but you had assistance.
I did.
I don't want to put it out there.
I did.
But bro had something called a Cronus.
I did.
What the fuck is that?
A Cronus is like a little machine that you plug in
to your mouse,
and it helps you aim really, really good.
Yeah.
I don't even play mouse and keyboard. I play on controller.
Played on control. But you did have assistance.
Aim assist.
But it ain't Cronus. So the difference between the Cronus and aim assist is only on controller.
Okay.
In consoles. So basically what the Cronus was the aim assist for the PC and mouse.
Mm-hmm.
But aim assist, he can't edit it at all. It's just there. It's just an assist that the game does for it. Cronus, I could take any gun and shoot it at the wall and see the pattern that it creates, and I can set settings on the Cronus to eliminate that pattern and keep the gun straight. So there's no recoil.
This guy's a nerd, bro.
It just fights.
I don't even think I process all of that.
Yeah, like it fights the recoil for me.
Fuck.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, just get good, bro.
You can't say that though, because you're aim assist, bro. You can't.
You're right.
You can't say that.
You're right, but it still takes a bit of skill.
It does. It does, because I couldn't switch from mouse to controller and do. I do 5% of what you could do on controller.
But I couldn't get on mouse and keyboard and do what you do either, though, bro. Mouse and keyboard is tough. That's a whole nother ball game. That's like learning how to ride a bike again, bro.
But it's more than just aiming, though. Like there was strategy.
It's dexterity too.
I remember you also understood the game. That was one thing I didn't really get the game. You know what I'm saying? You were like you had the concept of the whole thing and you knew what to do.
They call it game sense.
Yeah,
they call it game sense.
You had game sense. I was just like the guy that knew how to shoot. I would just kill.
Bro, and you know what's crazy, man, is I met one of my closest friends now a couple years ago. His name's Devin, and that kid is fucking. You think I'm good at that shit, bro? He's like 10 of me put together into one person.
For real?
His game sense, and that's what it is, bro. It really comes down to game sense.
Yeah.
It's how you process what you're about to do, because there's so much going on in that game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This might be something good for you to try to get into too. If you got ADHD, bro, it's so much shit going on. It's so fast paced. Like, bro, you'll get your hit of adrenaline.
The problem is getting into it, because like I remember when I first started gaming or playing Call of Duty, the hardest part was to get over the part where I sucked. You know what I'm saying? To the point where I could start getting that dopamine. Because at first you don't get that dopamine.
Frustrating.
See, I don't get dopamine though, bro. I get adrenaline, bro.
Yeah.
Like I shake, bro.
Yeah.
Like I shake. Like when I clutch some shit up or I do some shit, bro, we call it the shakes. I tell Danny all the time. I'm like, I got the shakes, bro.
Yeah,
I got the
especially
shakes.
when that circle starts getting lower,
bro. I'm telling you,
and you've already made some goddamn plays. You're like,
boy, I'm telling you, it gets intense.
Boy, I used
bro.
to sit straight on that.
I'm telling you, bro, it gets intense, bro. You finish that game, bro, and I'm telling you, bro, your hands are shaking,
bro. Her mom, when I was with her mom, she used to come out and yell at my ass because I was on that mic. She'd be like, "It's 3:00 in the morning." Can you? I'd be fucking. But it was like, yeah, man, I couldn't do it, bro. Like I said, you're one of those people that I first played with. I was like naturally just good at that game, and I was trying to become a streamer, and I was like, bro, this is taking me I have to do the Cronus to do all this shit, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I tried switching over to controller, and it was just like starting from square one again, and I was like, man, I need to do something that's gonna, work better for me, that I'm naturally at. stop forcing myself to try to do something that I'm not good at. Because even my brother was better than me. And I told my brothers, like, you should be streaming. Why am I streaming? You know what I mean? He's got the character for it. He's in the age group where kids are still gonna watch him. I'm not. I'm an old man.
You never know, bro. Tim the Tap Man, I think, is a bit older than you, bro. And a lot of people watch Tim the Tap Man. I feel like you just got to be entertaining.
Tim the Tap Man?
You have to be entertaining
No, you do. No, but Angel's got it on lock, bro.
Yeah.
My little brother.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's good. He's good,
bro. He hit a crazy growth spur.
No, he's good, bro. He doesn't like Warzone because it's just, like he's not used to that size of map. You know what I mean?
So
but
what does he play?
When it comes to team deathmatch, boy.
So he does multiplayer.
Bro, I'm good at multiplayer. That's where I come from. I'm above average in multiplayer. But next to my brother, fuck no.
Yeah, bro. See, that's where I come from. I come from Search and Destroy though.
I
played Search and Destroy. That was my shit.
But see, that's why you're good at Warzone.
Because it's those high strategic, high stress, high stakes, like type of games. Because that's the shit.
You know, I used to filter out Search and Destroy.
That's crazy. That's
you know what's crazy though? It was, I don't know where I heard this, but it was saying that games are like simulations, right?
No, facts, and I'll prove it.
Right, and that you being in scenarios where you have to act under high stakes, high stress, quick reaction. Like it improves your reaction time.
You ever been paintballing? Mm-hmm. You ever find yourself doing like Call of Duty?
Of course, bro.
Bruh. One time, bro, I was playing Nerf guns with my brother.
Sliding, bro.
Yeah. One time I was playing Nerf guns with my brother, bro. And this is before he was like, better at Call of Duty. Like this is when I was the Call of Duty and he was growing into it. We were playing with his Nerf guns, bro, and this was like peeking out the corner. And I'm like, I'm premeditating the shot, so I know that when he peeks out, the fucking Nerf is gonna hit him. Bro, I pre-shot that thing. I was like, "Pow!" And I just see that fucking thing going, and he peeks out and pop, hit him straight in the head. My dad saw it. We have it on video, bro. And at that moment is when I realized what you just said. I was like, whoa.
Have you guys ever seen
that does teach you some sort of like military tactics?
Have you guys ever seen that NASCAR game or movie on Netflix where it was like based on a true story where these kids were, playing NASCAR and actually in the game, and they had all the, pieces where they like shift and they accelerate, brake and all, and it's like the actual the layout of the
track.
The track.
Well, before pilots.
And they became that way. Like there was some people that actually, some gamers that became actual NASCAR drivers.
Yeah. Well, before pilots get their wings, they have to do simulations. Mm-hmm. Flight simulations. It's basically a video game, but the full setup of the plane and all that.
Do you still play or
nah?
No.
I basically sacrificed rap and gaming
for podcasting.
That's really what I did, bro. Because I knew it was going to take up all my time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And gaming was really, really, for me to be at a competitive level, I had to be on it every day, especially streaming. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Are you still play, Andy?
Oh yeah, every day, bro.
Yeah,
shit. Not as much as I want to, but that's like one of my coping mechanisms. That's one of the things I do to kind of just chill.
Sometimes it was anti-coping.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and that's what I was getting ready to say. Even though I get on and I get pissed off a lot, though, bro. Like I'm constantly saying how garbage and bullshit everything is. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I enjoy.
He used to get pissed at me.
Oh yeah, facts. I get pissed at all my friends, bro. They suck, bro, because I'm the best one out the group, bro.
No, but sometimes, bro, you would have a bad day.
He said, I
was carrying the team, and he'd be like, "Rick, what are you doing, bro?"
Sometimes I would have a bad. That's crazy, bro. Listen, me having a bad day is like cuando pare una cabra y está lloviendo afuera. Bro, that doesn't happen, bro. It doesn't. It's rare. But I will say,
match. Let's see a bad match.
I will say, my friend Chuck, he'll tell you, bro. I do be tripping on the game sometimes, bro. Like the other day, Dennis, I'm not gonna lie,
blowing a gasket in the games and shit.
Oh, bro, I turned off. Bro, I would rage quit, bro.
Rage quit. it'll be 3 of us in the squad, and all of a sudden Andy's like, offline.
I did that the other night, bro.
And then he'd fucking invite us back over, and this match ain't even over yet. And I'm like, bro, let us finish the goddamn match.
Nah, like the other night, bro, I just get frustrated because like I'm like, bro, the only person that's up there with me, bro, is my cousin Danny. So like when me and bro play, he's usually the one getting mad at me when I fuck up when we're playing because he's better than me. We're really up there. Like we'll go. Like each game, bro. Like last night, he dropped 21.
I play with Danny.
Of course. That's the only person I play with. Like that's my right hand man. Like I love Danny. That's my cousin. And bro, I'm telling you, bro. The other night we were playing, me, Chuck, Danny, and one of the homies, Carrington. Bro, I'm at the buy station. Rick, it's quads, bro. I just get bought back. I run over there by the buy station with just a pistol, bro, and. All my teammates die except Carrington. Carrington is somewhere off in the map doing something. He says he doesn't have AR ammo. Bro, I have a pistol. I knocked 3 of the 4 people, fully killed them, finished them off. There's one person left, and then he's giving me hell, bro. He's like running around doing all this extra shit. I tweak, bro. I'm like, Carrington, what the fuck are you doing? He said, bro, I ain't got no AR ammo. I'm like, bro, it's 3 bodies here. Come get it. Bro, I end up going down, bro. I said, man, fuck this shit. Bro, I just hit the power button on my computer.
That was the worst when you knock out 3 out of 4 and you're fucking teammates in a whole different part of the map.
Nah, it was so funny that my boys, they texted me right after that. They were like, hey, he got you out your body, don't he? I'm like, bro, I'm pissed, bro. Yeah. Like I'm pissed, bro. Like, dog, if I just needed one person there to hit this dude one time, we would have been straight. We all would have came back.
One of the things that that game really builds memories with people that you play with on a daily basis, man. Because one of the biggest memories I have with this dude named Chicharo, shout out Chicharo from fucking Cancun, Mexico, bro. I've never met this motherfucker in my life, but he became a friend of mine, bro. Like we played daily. I won my first Warzone match with him, bro. Duos. You know what I'm saying? And I remember the feeling, bro, because we fucking fought, bro. We fought months and months and months to win this shit. And I remember when we finally won our first duos. Wow. That dude became my friend forever, bro. Like, no, I can't.
Do you still talk to him?
Hell yeah. He's like, I don't even play no more, and he still hits me up on Facebook every once in a while.
No shit.
He's a photographer in Mexico. He works
But you never met him?
Never met him. And he always told me, like, hey, bro, come over here. He's a photographer for a hip-hop club that's in a yacht in Mexico.
That's dope.
So
bro,
all he does
we
is
need to fucking go.
Yeah, man.
What are we doing?
I would love to get the brand out there.
Bro, let's do it, bro. He showed me the pictures that he takes, bro. It's nothing but ass. It's just chicks twerking on a boat.
Well, sounds like we got 2 trips. We got one to Guatemala and Rogotan, and one to Mexico.
There you go. Yeah, that's more of a business trip. It sounds like.
It sounds super busy. Yeah. We need to make that business trip, man.
Yeah, but I will say, man, that the game definitely brings people together from all parts of the world, bro. I've made a lot of friends that I've never met in person. You know what I'm saying? One of my closest friends that I played with, me, Danny, James, we grew up playing with this dude. His name was Johnny Jedlicka, bro. He ended up passing away a few years ago in a motorcycle accident. And I found out on his Discord channel. Somebody went on there and was like, bro, like, look at this article. Like, this is about Johnny. And a car hit him. He was on a motorcycle. He wasn't speeding. He wasn't doing nothing crazy. He was just going home on his motorcycle, bro, and a car hit him. But yeah, bro, like it does bring you close with people from all over the world, bro. I've made so many good memories and friends online, bro, that I still haven't met to this day. But like I said earlier, Aaron, that private equity branch manager, I met him on Call of Duty.
No shit.
I met him on Call of Duty. That was one of that's Charles, my friend Charles' friends that he put me in the same party with him, and we just ended up kicking it. And he texted me. He was like, "Hey, bro, I'm gonna be in Kansas City next week. Like, let's link." I'm like, "Let's do it, bro." He came in, bro. We went to a really nice, bro. This restaurant was really nice. You guys need to go check it out. I think it's called Stock Hill. It's over there by the plaza.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Stock Hill.
In Stock Hill?
I think it's called Stock Hill. It was very nice, bro. Like very nice. I took him there. I bought him a drink and got some food up in there, and it was fire, bro. But I definitely, you got to go in there dressed very well, because I was in there like dressed casually like this, and yeah, everybody else had on like blazers and dress shirts.
Hey
and
dudes
shit.
and shit.
Yeah, bro. Old dudes with white hair.
You already know.
Hey dudes.
You already know.
What's wrong with the hey dudes, bro?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yo, man, fuck, bro. We could go for hours, bro.
Yeah.
But we gotta start cutting it down.
Yeah.
We're 2 hours and 30 minutes. Andy,
Bro.
man, fuck, bro. I feel like we're barely scratching the surface, man. But as far as Herbal KC, man, we definitely got to do some collabs,
Yeah.
do some events.
Let's put something together.
Put some
bro.
vlogs.
Let me know.
We
Let
can
me
Do
some-
know.
that, bro.
we can do
I'm,
some
I'm
vlogs.
game for it.
I'm at your disposal, bro. Just let me know what I need to do.
Well,
what I need to
let
bring.
us know when you got some events coming up. You guys say you'll be
Well,
out there if you're doing community events and stuff like.
We also
where do we need to pull up?
We also gotta
We do vlogs.
we also gotta invite them to our events. Or
I was gonna
things
say that
like
too. Let me know if you guys are throwing events too, and we'll pop out to those events too. Because like I said, bro, that's one of the things we're focusing on the most this year, bro. Is community events, and just giving back to the community, bro. We're gonna do some backpack drives, some back to school giveaways too. Come August. I mean, we have a lot of things that we're planning, bro. We're trying to get artists out here. We're trying to put some big things together, bro. So just let me know.
I know some local artists here. If you guys want to do collaborations too, if you
I was
need to.
gonna say-
I'm not against local artists. We were looking at like B-list, A-list people to bring out here.
I'll send you some of the projects we've done and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got Rick right here too. You got to see this fool perform here,
Bro, I've heard him rap, bro. I've been there, bro. We used to bust raps in the car together. What do you mean, bro? We used to get in the car, bro.
His shit is different now, though, man. He
I
be
bet.
doing tequila and fucking corridos tumbados. I bet you didn't know
Oh
that. fool.
shit, you doing corridos tumbados now? All right, Junior H.
I did a few, bro. I was trying, but I'm not really focused on that, man. I'm focused on doing.
No,
this.
but if you could add to his event and shit like that, you know what I'm saying?
I feel like there's.
I would rather do something like media wise with you though, bro, because I know you're not
we've been
really
doing
focused on the music shit.
We've been doing this vlogs and stuff, man, and those been dope, man. So like, if we need to, go and be somewhere and like catch some, footage or whatever, man, it'd be good.
Yeah,
It'd
let's
be
do
dope.
that. I've kind of started doing that myself too. I bought the Ray-Ban Metas, and I have a little cameraman, or I have a cameraman that follows me around, and we're trying to get that going a bit more. Sometimes I haven't been used to being in front of the camera this much, bro.
Yeah.
Like I've
You did
never.
well today, bro. Like for real, I mean, like
Natural.
if you're not used to,
Natural.
yeah, no, for real, like you really do, man.
I appreciate it, man. It's been tough, bro. I've never been that type of guy that likes to take pictures or be on social media like that. I mean, I'll post my stories and I'll talk my shit on my stories and shit like that, right? Show people what I'm doing throughout the day. But as far as like posting myself on there or going like taking selfies and shit, bro, dog, I got 9 pictures on my page, bro. And those bitches were hard to take, bro. Hard to post.
Man, I'm the same way too, because my girl, we'll go out and she'll try to take a picture of my outfit.
Yeah.
And I don't ever know how to pose.
Bro, my go-to outfit is this.
Yeah.
And my ex told me, she was like, dude, stop taking pictures like that. She was like, I can't even show my grandmother pictures that we have together because you're always like this in every picture. I'm like, I'm sorry. You're right. Shout out to her, man. She was a huge part of my growth too. For real.
In the Hellcat, like. No fucking hood on, sitting on the supercharger.
That's funny, yo.
Hey, I was just a young man living life, bro. I wasn't
I was living through you, bro.
Man.
living vicariously. That's what a lot of my people say, bro. But I just be trying to have fun and be safe with it now, bro. I feel like a lot of my reckless tendencies have gone away, for sure.
You feel like that left when the Hellcat was sold?
Nah, that left when I got arrested, bro.
Yeah.
When I caught my big case, bro.
Yeah.
That's the one that really like I'm like, hey, bro. Cause I was facing 20 years, Rick.
Jeez.
Damn.
I was thinking about that the other day too, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, some bullshit, man.
I was facing 20 years, Rick, and at the time when that shit happened, bro, I was 24, bro. So think about it, bro. I'm thinking I'm gonna get out when I'm 40,
Yeah.
35. Like, you know, I was fucked up.
You're probably thinking life's over.
I was fucked up. And then not only that, but it's just like the knowledge, bro, the education, right? Not knowing how the court systems work or how things like that tend to pan out. You know, you talk to your family about them and you tell them that, they look at you like, oh yeah, my boy, you're through. You cooked.
Yeah.
Like it's over with for you. You about to be in prison, bro.
Yeah, because they don't understand it either.
They don't understand that shit, bro. And, you know, I thank God for people like Ryan in my life, because Ryan told me, bro, I remember he's my barber now. I remember I was on the phone with him and I was just fucked up, just telling him like, bro, I'm just I don't feel good, bro. Like,
you're probably thinking, I'm gonna go back to Guatemala and fuck this shit.
Yeah, you know, I had those thoughts. I had those thoughts too. Yeah. I had those thoughts, but it's like if I leave, bro, so much shit's gonna go down. Like, you know, it's not just me that I need to worry about. It's like a supply line of shit that I need to worry about. Mm-hmm. So he told me, he was like, bro, keep in mind, bro. He was like, it says up to 20 years, bro. So just the same way, like when you get a speeding ticket and it says a fine of up to $500 or up to 6 months, you don't never see those 6 months or those $500, bro. So I remember once he said that kind of put a little bit of peace in my mind. And talking to my lawyer and shit, I hired a really good lawyer, bro. He's like a his name is Fourth.
Did you end up doing any time at all?
Aside from being in that holding cell, nah, bro. Thank God, I didn't, bro. The most time I've done was here in Missouri, bro. In Missouri and Kansas. Yeah. Yeah, I've had a lot of issues with the law, bro. But I feel like, man, it's one of those things, like once you start one issue with the law, it just keeps happening, bro. And I hated being in that cycle, bro. Like that was probably like the most depressing, anxiety-inducing era that I went through so far in my life. Like, bro, that level of stress, bro, and still trying to maintain a household and trying to maintain a relationship and trying to do X, Y, and Z.
You know what? I feel like every man goes through something in their life. And for like you haven't had any kids. So, you know, you haven't had, like for me, it was her splitting up with her mom. Mm-hmm. That was like, when you explained stressful, traumatic, court involved, her splitting, taking her to another, like it was like, fuck, my life is over, bro. You know
great minds have always been misunderstood by society, man. Yeah, because they're risk takers. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you know, with risk also comes reward. So, you know, if you land, right? But I feel like that's part of the reason why your success now as well is because you've been able to take that kind of risk. And, you know, who would have thought that you go from looking at facing 20 years to now where you're at, you know, living in, you know, where you live now, driving what you drive now, looking at the opportunities that you got cooking and the possibilities and talking about serving community and all this stuff. Bro, I mean, come on, man. Like if that's not a testimony of that good things could come to you, if you just, you know, stay hopeful, keep your faith, bro. Because both faith and fear require you to believe in something that hasn't happened yet. You know what I'm saying? And you just see it through. You stay, you know, you do what you got to do. You clean up your act and start really shifting your mentality for the better, you know, to create something good, and, you know, it pays off.
Man, I appreciate you saying that, bro. Because, you know, I had a lot of people in my ear judging me by the decisions I made and not actually realizing the choices that I had to pick from. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that really fucked me up too when I was in that position, because it's like, damn, bro, you think I wanted to put myself in this position? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, I knew it came with it and I'm going to handle it. Like, I'm not, bro, I promise you, bro, the only person that helped me through that was my business partner, bro, Jay. Outside of that, and my ex. Outside of that, nobody else really helped me with shit, bro. I didn't ask for no help either, though. Yeah. Trust me, I had it, but I never asked for it because I'm like, I got myself into this, bro. I need to pull myself out of this shit. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always a few, very few in those moments. You know what I'm saying? And but it's part of the process, bro. It's part of your it's part of your growth. Now you're gonna know. Now you're sharper, right? Mm-hmm. You know what you got to do, what not to do. You know how you got to move. And you know that if you're gonna do it, you gotta really set that goal, and you really gotta be strategic.
Shit, I ain't doing shit else that's gonna put me in no box, bro. No time soon. I'm telling you, baby. Hey, I'm moving so straight, bro. I'm telling you, bro. I just move I move in love and respect, bro. That's it, bro. When you come around me, that's all you're gonna feel, bro. Is straight love and respect, bro, and fun. You're gonna have fun, 100%. My homegirl came out with me the other night, and she told me,
on Call of Duty.
My fault, bro. I'm a different person on call, man. My bad, man.
Hey, he's gonna have to air it out somewhere. You know what I'm saying? He's gotta fucking.
Hey, I've been celibate over a year, bro. So that's really like my main like stress reliever, bro. I'm trying to make it the gym, bro, but I can't. I haven't gotten to that point. It's hard, bro.
Celibate for 1 year, bro?
Over a year, bro.
Fuck, bro.
Over a year,
damn,
bro.
Son. That takes discipline, bro.
It takes discipline, but I mean, bro, I'll be real with you, bro. Celibate like it's not having intercourse type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you know.
I got you. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Yeah, man. But it's like, it's still though, man, you know, like you have to have discipline for that, especially when you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have to, like, bro, you got to be like hella disciplined because you got your lady and you're like
Johnny said, you got to bust a nut, bro.
You know,
Johnny.
I'm preparing for that next step, bro. I'm preparing for that next step. You know, commitment has always been something that I struggled with. So that's definitely something that I'm preparing for the next. That's going to be the next stage in my life for sure. You know what I'm saying? And
getting married, starting a family, and all that stuff.
Yeah. And I've always been the person that said I didn't want to get married, bro, just because I knew that I struggled with so much commitment. But bro, being able to have been celibate for this past year, over a year, like I said, bro, pussy does not move me anymore.
Wow.
Like, bro, I'm telling you, bro, when it comes to I'm sorry.
Dude.
when it comes to let me rephrase that then. Women don't move me anymore like the way they used to. So back to what you had asked me earlier, what would I tell my younger self? Boy, I would tell myself to leave these women alone, bro. Leave the women alone. Focus on how to build myself up, build a brand up, get money. Cause bro, the women come where the money's at, bro. And that's what I'm saying. That's one of the things I realized when I caught my case, bro, at the height of my whatever you want to call that era, bro. It was a lot that I had going on, especially with women. And that's one of the reasons why I lost my ex, bro. And she told me, like, you know, she was very, very clear on what she didn't want me to do. And that's exactly what I went to go do. You know, so when I lost her, like I said earlier, bro, she's a huge reason why the growth that I've had over these last couple of years is all 100% due to her, bro. I give her credit every time, bro. I tell her that all the time. She taught me how to communicate better. She taught me how to make better decisions, how to think better, like how to be more considerate and thoughtful of the shit that I say and do and how I say it. That's always been my problem, Rick. And I feel like given the example that you've given on COD, you know that, bro. You know I have a communication issue when it comes to like talking to people or saying certain shit to people, you know. I'll say some crazy off the wall shit that I didn't mean to it come off like that, but it just came off like that. That's how I said it. So, man, it's just one of those things that it's just a continual growth, you know, continual elevation, continual growth, and realizing that there's shortcomings that you have within yourself that you might not realize, but that's why you got to have those good people around you that's willing to tell you, like, bro, you hurt my feelings the other day when you said that to me, or the way you said it.
Yeah.
And then it takes a real man to be like, damn, yeah, you're right, my bad. Like I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna be more conscious about that moving forward, and you know, try.
Well, that also shows the person that said that to you that you actually care.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen, I'm not friends with none of my exes. I don't have friends with none of my, I'm not friends with none of my, that's my only ex that I'm a friend with, bro. And we're like completely platonic, super cool, bro. Like nothing but love and respect for that woman. She was older than me. She was 5 years older than me too. So that was the first person I really had that was really older than me and had more experience and maturity than I did, bro. And like I tell her this all the time. It's a joke. She hates it when I say this, but I told her, I'm like, you groomed me to be the perfect man. And I'm like,
Now you could be the perfect brand for somebody else.
That's what she said too.
And then that person's gonna judge you like you're doing the basic shit. Like fuck, you know how long
Shit, I hope, man. Listen, bro. I want to set the bar. I want to set the bar so motherfucking high that the woman walks away from me like, oh yeah, like shit. That's basic shit for me because my last person. But if
as I told my girl, she's like, I told her I was like, you feel like she feels like at some point she felt like she had the worst of me. And I was like, bro, you got the best me. I'm like the sharpest I've ever been. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? But that's because I came in with that expectation.
Yeah.
I set that, she expects that from me because that's what she meant.
Yeah. But I mean, really, Dennis, to go back to what we were saying earlier, bro, like I feel like going through what I went through and just seeing how like when shit is up for me, everybody wanted to be around me. But when I got fucked up, bro, it was a few people that was trying to make sure I was straight. And bro, that really set in tone for me. It set it in tone for me in my head. I'm like, I need to be around people that love me for me and want to help me for me just because they want to do that for me. Not because of what I'm able to provide or do or because of what I have. Like, bro, I'm telling you, bro, shit like this, I think about this and I'm like, I don't know why I let shit like that slide. But bro, I would leave thousands of dollars out on the counter. Thousands, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 on the counter, bro. I lived with 2 other people. And I'll wake up the next day and I'll see pictures of them with my money and my glasses and shit on Instagram and shit like that. Like, and shit like that is where I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna say nothing, have fun with it, because I'll be having fun with it too, but like when I really need you to come through for me, bro.
Yeah.
And that was just a huge lesson for me, Dennis. And I feel like it was easy for me to be celibate because I got to the point to where like, bro, you got to show me why you're worth being next to me, man or female, man or woman.
Right.
Like, show me why you deserve to be next to me. Because now, bro, I'm telling you, it's so hard for anybody to get next to me, bro. You look through my phone right now, bro. People ask me when I'm going to come out, when you're going to see me, when they're going to do. Bro, you catch me organically. Catch me at one of my events.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so far removed from pulling up and smoking with people and we going to do this and kick it. Nah, bro, y'all got that, bro.
Yeah.
Y'all got that. I want to be at home enjoying my high-ass rent that I got to pay.
Right. Right.
Yeah, you're going to have to give us an invite out there sometime.
Oh, man, anytime. Come through, man. The pool just opened. We can grill, get a carne asada going, and then we can really see about the space. Once you get an actual look at the physical space, we can talk about reserving it. Because without that reservation, bro, they're real anal about having a resident there, basically babysitting people.
Let's do a carne asada this summer, bro.
Fuck it, let's make it happen.
Get the kids out there.
Let's do it.
I could take the mics, the cameras,
whatever you want, bro. Let's do it. We got a conference room in there too that we can set up, and it's gonna look player as fuck. It's got a screen
your
just
could
like
be there
that.
too, man.
We can get them up there too, bro. We can get them up
there
there
too.
too.
Man, let's collab, man. Let's create value. That's what I'm about,
Let me
man.
know. Listen, I'm gonna say it again, bro. Let me know what you guys need from me, bro. I'm at your guys' disposal, bro. Hey, you got a lifetime membership.
We're
with me,
promoters, bro. That's what we do.
Okay.
We're promoters.
But also let me know what I can do on your end, because I know you were telling me that you're able to get these tables and you're able to throw these events at these places, but you need people to come out.
Yeah.
So let me know how we can make that work. What type of event we can throw together to where it makes sense for both brands.
Yeah. I got to get you locked in with FK Menace and that Made Mob thing on the first Fridays.
Yeah, I'm going next Friday. I have a meeting.
You guys would have been perfect for Sábados, but Sábados took a break this year.
There's no Sábados going on this year?
Not this year.
Bro, we were in the email list too.
Yeah.
I don't know who put my email in the email list for Sábados, bro, but I was getting emails from FK Menace and Sábados and all this shit, but I didn't know what the fuck I was looking at, bro. I thought it was spam, bro. I swear to God, I thought it was spam. But it wasn't until I went back and I looked at like the list of emails and I seen yours in there that I'm like, oh shit, like
I was hosting that.
This
for
is shit.
Seasons.
Yeah. This is shit that Rick's been doing, but I had no idea. And it goes back to what I said earlier, bro.
I didn't know you were doing this though. Then,
but that's what I'm saying. I'm so tapped out of the Hispanic Latino community, bro.
Bro, let's link up, man. There's there is so much opportunity, man. I want to introduce you to some people, and
his mom
bro,
connected to
bro.
a lot.
I'm telling you.
Hey, let's
I'm
do
telling
it.
you.
Let's do it. I'm never
And
too
you guys
shy.
are Chapines, so you know we could meet the families and shit, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, man, Rick, for real, man. Thanks for having me on this one, bro. Honestly, it's great meeting you here today, bro.
Thank you.
I feel like this one is a gem because, like, you're talking about like ozone layer, like. You know,
This one
like
was
history,
special. This is special.
history, bro. Like this is and you need to figure out how to get that second episode out. I know, even if you got to edit that shit, man, it's part of the history.
Don't embarrass me.
It's part of the history. It's part of the history.
I feel the same way. Man.
No, but I'm with it though, bro.
No, but-
It's always good to look at growth though, Rick. Because that was years ago.
The reason I never put it out is because I remember one of the last things that George told me, and he wanted me to delete everything I had of him. He told me delete everything you have of me, everything, and I fought back, bro. I was like, fuck you, bro.
But was that conversation like? Was it the type of conversation where it's like, yo, Dennis, like, you know, delete everything you have of me, or is it like, hey, bro, I don't want you to have nothing of me. Delete my image, my videos, everything. Was it that type of shit, or
it was him going into? Because he was, you know, a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, okay.
And it was him going into his religion, and he didn't want nothing that I had to, you know, fight whatever he was trying to create him.
It's so interesting that he ended up becoming Jehovah's Witness.
He was always Jehovah's.
That's wow.
He was
wow,
always.
That's such a surprise to me because, you know, they believe that the condemned people are black. That's why their skin is black. Did you know that?
He's the darkest motherfucker.
Is this kind of like the Dave Chappelle episode where he got a black white supremacist?
A black supremacist.
No, but I'm dead ass. Hey, fact check me on that. I don't think I'm wrong on that, but I think if I remember correctly,
but there's
Jehovah's
Witness.
There's
a lot of African Americans in,
bro, and I'm telling you, I swear to God, look it up, bro. I think one of the things that they believe in is that when God condemned some of the people on earth, he gave them darker skin, which is crazy to me. Like,
yeah, he was always, ever since I've known George, he was a Jehovah's Witness.
Wow, that's interesting, bro.
But yeah, like I said, back to what I was saying, the reason I never put it out was because of that, and I understand why, because as George grew, he became wiser. He became that street factor of him was there, but he knew how to control it. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things I feel about that podcast, bro, is that's not the George that he once aired out. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. But
because he was going through a lot during that time, bro.
In the same breath, I do want to say that I feel like the people, they definitely deserve just a glimpse of what kind of man George was. Because I mean, I'm sure there's clips or little segments you can take from that podcast and show who he was. Because man, I'm telling you, bro,
like that
man was special, bro. I'm telling you, that man was special, bro. He was so special to me, bro. I'm telling you, and like I told Rick the other day, bro, like we kind of had a falling out before he passed away, right?
We did too.
Yeah,
that's kind of. I think he was going through his process of really like.
Yeah,
sounds like he was.
When I know for now because of my experience, I know when you guys were hanging out, I was jealous, bro. I was not gonna lie to you.
I wanted you to be there, bro.
You know what's crazy?
I wanted you to be there.
You know what's crazy though? What's crazy was that I remember you telling me like you looked up to George. You didn't know George at the time, but I remember you coming up to me. It's like, bro, I know George. Like, I remember you looking up to him, and I remember talking to George and be like, bro, talk to Andy, bro. I was like, he's cool. He looks up to you. I was like, you might be able to offer him something that he needs. I was like,
he definitely
because
did,
at first, I was like, but at first he was like, I don't know that dude. Well, I don't, you know what I'm saying? But once he met you, bro, like I remember at some point, I'm like, you guys were like this.
Yeah,
you guys were like this.
No, we really, bro, we clicked. And here's the thing, though, bro. I knew of George though. Yeah. I didn't know him personally, but I knew of him because of Michael.
Yeah. And
we always used to hear his name, George Hoff. We used to watch highlights of him playing football.
Yeah.
Like, we really used to do that shit, bro. So George Hoff was one of the Grandview legends. Darion Moore was one of the Grandview legends. Like, these are names that I grew up hearing, bro.
Yeah.
And Darion now is one of my closest friends. That's my brother, bro. I love him to death. And when I got the opportunity to meet George, it was like we instantly clicked, bro. Because like it was like everything I always heard of him was true plus more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The dude was such a genuine guy, and yeah, bro, I feel like the people deserve to at least see a little bit of him. You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
Just a couple clips.
But yeah, man, but thanks for coming through, for real. It's nice meeting you. Like I said, siempre es un placer conocer un paisano, and you know, aquí estamos. Cualquier cosa.
Let me know how we can collab. Let me know. Let's get some shit. Let's get some shit going, bro. I'm excited.
That.
I'm excited. Like I said, lifetime membership with me, baby.
Well, for sure, we're gonna get going with the carne asada, and then we can elaborate on what we can do, what kind of value we can create.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right, everybody. It's your boy Rico. We appreciate you for stopping by. Make sure you go to Herbal Refreshments. Is what's the
Herbal
Instagram?
Refreshment KC. Herbal Refreshment KC is the IG. Make sure you check us out, man. We got big things coming this summer. We're trying to book some artists. We're gonna do some community drives, give back to the community, back to school drives. So just tap in Herbal Refreshment KC. We got big shit coming.
Yeah, don't forget to subscribe to Ozone Layer Media for more. And see you guys next time.
Shout out Ozone.
All right.
Yeah. Man, bro, there's so much more we could put.
I feel like we could have gone for hours.